All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Find the Path Research Check. Today, we're talking about Lost Omens, Gods, and Magic, kind of a little bit of a throwback. I am Jessica Peters.
For a little
And
bit longer.
I'm Jessica Jenkins, but not officially because I haven't gotten my name changed because that takes a long time and everything is very slow right now.
Yeah.
It's a pain.
It's a pain. Soon I'll be Jessica Jenkins, Wizard Jenkins, and
then
it'll
we'll
be
both
amazing.
be JJ.
Yes. Anyway, I'm
All the
joined
J's.
by, I guess, my husband, this guy over here.
Yeah. Hi, guys.
I
Which
guess.
you should say your name.
Hi, I'm Jordan. Also of the Jenkins clan.
Bizarre. And my best friend for life.
Yep, she knows too much. I am Rachel Sandage.
Excellent. And now you know my closest allies. All right.
Wow, everybody else on FTP, just get wrecked.
You know, they are allies, but these two are my closest allies. I've known Rachel for ever, 15 years or something. And we're
Probably.
married. So it's like a
We'd
whole
have
thing.
to do the math, but yeah.
Anyway, you came here to talk about gods and magic, not about Jessica's personal life. So, I mean, I guess we
That's
could
for
talk
free.
about that if you wanted to, but it'd be very weird.
Yeah, weird stream.
Yeah, it would. But yeah, so we're talking about gods and magic. I guess we dive right in. The overview had some cool new doodads, and I'm going to kick us off actually with a question that came from our Patreon from Tobin52. The question, it's essentially two questions. It's one of those Rachel specials where it's one question, but it's two questions.
That's the norm.
How much of the book is devoted to lore versus mechanics? And how much of the information contained is new versus something from Inner Sea Gods and 1E?
After looking through it, I'd say it's probably 85% lore and 15% mechanics. I felt like it was mostly lore.
Yeah, it does have a chapter of mechanics essentially, or a couple chapters, but
I mean, technically, things like the
sprinkled in.
anathema are mechanics. So there's things like that. And we'll get into some of the mechanical parts, I think. The one thing that if you're looking at this from Gods and Magic is this has a collation of a lot of other information that wasn't just Inner Sea Gods. So it expands upon, the major 20 deities and actually gives you, 20 more deities that are maybe not as far flung, but you can still find inside the Golarion setting. Yeah. Demigods, some of the other pantheons. So there's sections about the elder gods, there's sections about Imperial Lords. I mean, that kind of stuff where it's more flavored text, but maybe not necessarily as much information as you might have found in a first edition book that was specifically about that.
There were also some deities I'd never heard of before in this book, so that was pretty
Lots
cool.
of those, actually, yeah.
And I've done my fair share of just delving into weird esoteric things in first edition, so
well, that's the fun part.
That's the fun part. So I guess, speaking of mechanics, there are essentially alternate domains. There's expanded domains, and there's Splinter Faith. So there's some stuff in here. What do you guys think about these alternate domain rules?
Alternate domains for me are kind of interesting because I think they kind of fill that same niche as subdomains did in first edition, but gives you the ability to actually do something different instead of it being just a specialization of one of the existing domains that a deity has. So I think that's kind of cool.
I think it kind of expands on what the gods represent too. That way they're not just one-sided. They're multifaceted in some way, and I think this kind of helps, expand on that.
That's true. I have to say that I think Splinter Faith is kind of interesting. It's essentially a feat you can take. Weirdly, if you're not a human or human adjacent thing, you don't get a feat at first level, so you can't take this at first level. But if you don't take it at first level, you have to do retraining.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, because basically this background says you grew up in a religious organization, monastery, church, something like that, where faith was very important to your upbringing.
No.
But yeah.
Splinter Faith is not that one. Splinter
Oh
Faith
no,
is
sorry,
like
sorry, different one.
the weirdly heretical views of a religion, essentially.
Yeah, and that one I don't understand the retraining part of that because, like, I mean, I get it's a background, so like taking a background after first level is a little strange, but it's one of those things where it's like you just have a different view than everybody else, but not necessarily a wrong one. So you can still be like a priest of Caden that, believes that, fighting is more important than being a happy drunk or something like that, and it's apparently okay, like that kind of stuff.
I do almost feel like it's a little culty. Like
it's a little culty.
Like the special niches that are like, these are the extremists.
Yeah, it is. It's a little.
It's kind of the vibe I got from it.
It is a little bit like that, but I kind of like that because I think sometimes playing cultists or reformed cultists is kind of interesting.
Yeah, no,
but it's also because like gods change over time, and it's neat to be like, this might be the beginning of like a new way of thinking about this god. So I think that could be really, really cool. So
it actually just makes me think of, if anybody is watching The Mandalorian right now, it kind of touches on that a little bit. I will not say anything because I do not want to give out any spoilers for people who have not seen it, but it's kind of touching on that a little bit because Rick was explaining it to me and I was like, oh, this is kind of becoming really interesting now. So, I mean, not that it wasn't already because I freaking love The Mandalorian.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff going on.
Well, I mean... Aside from that, the expanded domain initiate gives you more domain stuff, which is cool. And there's things that you can take that are feats. They also have a whole section about changing faith and like how to retrain from one faith to another faith, or how to like make amends with your deity if you really mess it up big time.
Yeah, and I thought that was kind of interesting, just in a codifying something that I can't remember the last time I ever really had a like I say, divine caster that went through one of those crises of faiths, because normally I don't want to go through the period where it's like, hey, guess what? You got no spell power.
Oh, that's just
unfortunate.
I have with an oracle changed faith, but oracles are kind of different because in 1E they didn't really get their powers from a deity necessarily.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing where like, you can technically just be like, oh, it was, I mean, he thought it was this deity, but really it's XYZ other thing,
That's my favorite way to do it, yeah.
I was actually going to bring up that character of yours because I think that's the only instance I've seen in any game that we've played that we've had a character change their faith.
Who was actually like a religious caster, because I mean, we've had like other ones who've gone from like, oh, I worship Pharasma, and now I think Desna's really cool, so I'm doing Desna or whatever. We've had some of that a little bit more.
It's always been really casual though. It hasn't been like something that really impacted the character.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
They also introduced divine intercessions, which are very cool. It's the idea of like the deity going, that guy's neat, and like giving you a boon, which makes me exceedingly happy because I mean, to be honest, if you're playing in an adventure path and you're up at like 12th level, you're pretty dang powerful, and your deity's probably keeping an eye on you because like that's nearing, like there aren't that many 12th level people or 15th level or 20th level people in the world.
Yeah, and it is customized for each deity, so each deity has their own unique set of boons they can give and curses if you offend them. Yeah. So I think it's really flavorful, and I think the mechanic itself is interesting. They give some good guidance on GMs about how not to make that, I would say, oppressive might be the best way to put it.
Well, because you can't make it you can't do it too often or it's not special.
Yeah, it needs to be special, but it's also the boons themselves are really powerful. The curses are really awful when you get into the major levels of them. We'll talk about some of our favorites because I know that
there were some questions on that.
There's some questions.
We had some questions on it, and I was like, yeah, they're pretty good and pretty bad.
As they should be, I guess. Divine curses and stuff. There's also the new background that Jordan was mentioning earlier, the Raised by Belief one. So now you can talk about it if you want to.
Yeah, I think this one's interesting because it was one of those things I read and I was like, wait a minute, that wasn't in the default set of backgrounds, because that seems like a moderately common kind of background of like, oh, I grew up in a monastery, I was an orphan, and like now I do this thing. And it was one of those like, oh, I guess it wasn't, because now here it is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna age myself right here, because when I read that, it made me think of Sayuki from back in the day. Because
What year is it?
I
Early
remember when it
2000s,
came out.
obviously.
I know,
It was definitely early 2000s because I was still in high school when I was reading that. But I remember that the main character was an orphan who was raised at a, basically a Buddhist shrine, and then becomes this like chosen child.
It's pretty common.
Huh.
That's a pretty common thing.
So, yeah, I really want to go back and watch that, but I don't think it's gonna live up to
Oof, yeah.
what I think it is.
Otherwise, like, talks about favored weapons, which nothing super new there.
No, I don't think so.
The theme templates is helpful if you're trying to kind of quickly put something together in your GM for making like NPCs and stuff. But otherwise, let's get into the good stuff, which is the next chapter, Gods of the NSCs.
Yes. And I do have our castings ready to go in case we need a refresher on it.
Well, we can say who they are just to make sure. But also the cover art, if we had the physical book, is all the deities fighting Roverguck, and it is red.
It is it's a very nice piece of art, but I have to call out one small detail that did kind of bother me. So they have a really cool Asmodeus, like he's very Hellboy.
He's cool.
Which is really cool. And they've got like Desna, and she's shooting this like moonbeam kind of thing. And you've got Sarenrae with blonde hair.
True, it's not fire.
It's not on fire, and it bothers me. Like, I'm just like, no, it's not right, because she always has flaming hair. So
I did miss the flaming hair.
But
it was missing.
On the giant wasp, red.
That was pretty good. Yeah, that's really rad. That's her herald too. Is the giant wasp is her herald?
I freaking love Calistria.
Well,
yeah, that's the one thing that's missing from this book, by the way, is there are no heralds in this book. So if you're expecting to see that,
couple.
Yeah, they mention them, but they're not statted out or anything like they were in first edition, which was kind of a miss.
I was a little disappointed by that.
Yeah, I missed them.
Maybe in the future. Okay,
the heralds are awesome. I want a book on heralds. Luis Loza.
Ooh, book on
heralds.
Book on heralds.
That would be neat.
Book of Heralds. I literally just called it the Book of Heralds. It'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Lost Omens Heralds.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll be
I like
the
that.
first to review it.
Yeah, right.
I like it very much. All right, let's talk about some deities, huh? Like, let me just kick this off by saying we're going to start with the major ones. And it's, I know that it's to save word count. Like, I understand like why they did it, but it is very annoying to me that they didn't go ahead and reprint the anathema and the edicts and stuff for the major deities. Because what if I just wanted to look here? Now I have to look here, and then I have to go look in the core rulebook, and that's annoying.
Under the cleric section, which you have to remember where it is.
No, I think they moved it out of that.
Or did they move it? I don't. Yeah, somewhere around there.
That's first edition.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my big gripe with the layout is why didn't you just include the anathemas and stuff in here for these major deities? I know that they're elsewhere.
Yeah,
but,
I feel like it could you think they could have done it as like a sidebar thing? Or is that too much?
It would have been like 2 extra lines, like I don't know.
Yeah.
So let's start with Father Christmas himself, Avadar.
Father Christmas. Is that just because he's dressed in red?
It's because he's in red and green.
Red and green and gold. Come on. He's like the god of capitalism too. So like Christmas. I don't know, man. I'm just saying.
I mean, okay, his sacred
Father
colors
Christmas.
his sacred colors are gold and silver. That
Silver
doesn't get more
and
capitalist than
gold.
that.
Silver and gold.
Okay, we are not. This is too early.
Not singing it because we'll get demonetized.
Hot Father Christmas, Avadar.
Hot Father Christmas. Is this what he always looked like though?
No, so all of the art has been updated, so some of them have a little bit different twist to them. Keep in mind that all the deities do have multiple representations depending on where they are in certain areas. So for instance, Taurag to the dwarves is a dwarf, to humans he's a human. So it's not, they have kind of a fluid thing with their appearance. So this is like one incarnation, and one of the things that I like in these entries is it includes a depiction of them in art. So I always think that's really interesting to see like how it's slightly similar, slightly different in how they're portrayed in artwork.
I will say that the representation here makes me think like, more of a Richard the Lionheart, whereas the previous art made me think, Jamie Lannister, which is why we cast him as Nicolaj Valdo, Costavaldo, or can't say his name. What is it? Nicolaj.
You're the only one who's going to be able to pronounce it, so good luck.
I gotta find it because I can't remember if it's Costa Valdo or Valdo Costa. Costa Valdo. Anyway, Nicolaj Coster-Waldau, because he looks different here. But then, like I said, he's got this Richard the Lionheart. But then he almost looks like Genghis Khan in the art on the next page.
Well, that's because that's probably more of a TN style.
I know, and I like it. I like it. It's very different. But when I saw this picture, I was like, did I cast him like really wrong at first? But then I had to think about it, be like, no, it depends on where he's at. So.
Yeah, and a good thing about this book is it shows a lot of those depictions and gives you information that the deity is larger than the Inner Sea. So the Inner Sea World Guide in first edition was very much, this is how this deity is viewed and worshipped in the Inner Sea. But like this art piece being more TN focused, his sacred animal being a monkey is very much not part of like traditional high fantasy, European centric.
Okay, but the monkey makes no sense.
It also makes no sense. I don't understand it personally. I don't think monkeys in civilization.
It should
chimps.
be a swallow.
I was thinking like an ant. They have colonies.
An ant? Yeah, that's pretty orderly,
cool.
lawful.
Yeah,
like an
I can
ant.
see that. I hate it because I have an inherent fear of ants.
Sure.
But
I have a lot of gripes with favorite enemies, but we'll wait till we get to the one that just like made me real mad. All right. Anything else about our boy Avadar? I mean, he's fine.
I actually read more about Avadar because I always get the like stereotypes of him, and we rag on him quite a bit.
It's fun.
But I did read the part about like the first vault and how that there is like this perfect version of everything. And then I was like, okay, something bothers me about this because, there is supposed to be this perfect version of everything, but yet he encourages people to like build settlements where there aren't any. And so it almost makes me feel like there's this disconnect. Like, is nature imperfect then because you've had to send something there to settle it? Yeah. I don't know. It's just, I'm like, you're ruining something that I think could be perfect.
I think that,
and it just,
this is what he's always bothered me, because in the fight between like civilization and nature, I always end up on the nature side, even though I really enjoy the creature comforts of civilization.
Yeah.
But I think that is the conflict, right? Like, his enemy doesn't include anyone super nature focused, but his allies also don't include like Gozra or anyone. So, although I don't think anybody really is allied with Gozra, he just hangs out. They just hang out.
Yeah, they.
He, she, they, depending on the aspect.
I did enjoy reading that he looks down on those who cheat the system, because I did not realize that was a facet of his, and he's actually all about, if you're gonna make the money, you better make it honest.
Yeah, he's not.
I kind of enjoyed that about him.
He's a lawful deity.
There's one further down that's really about like cheating the system, but it's not him.
Nagaba Burgerberg?
I mean, there's a lot that probably.
I'm really enjoying the aphorisms, though.
Yeah,
loving the aphorisms. That I think is my favorite part of this whole book.
They are good. All right, let's move on because we're going to spend a long time.
Now, are we going to talk about the boons and curses all at once, or are we going to do like for each one? I mean, I just have one I want to mention with him.
I mean, you can mention. I think we're going to mention the ones we think are cool, and then at the end we'll do like our favorite boons and our favorite curses, because otherwise we'll be here all night.
Okay. We will. This one is just funny because did anyone not read the major curse and go, liar, liar?
Yeah, that you can't lie.
Yeah, because it says you become honest to a fault. You constantly suffer the critical failure effect of the zone of truth. And additionally, you are always offered the worst possible option in a bargain. I'm like, this is liar, liar.
It's liar, liar is based. Like, this is based on liar, liar. You're right. All right, next one. Asmodeus. Yes. Classic, devil guy. Really.
He's dark.
As a general fan of Paizo art, I actually don't like this depiction of Asmodeus as much.
He looks like a clown.
It makes me think of Insane Clown Posse a little bit.
Yes.
And that's not a good thing, really, Like, I liked the Hellboy-esque, like, more, like, buffer version.
The one from the opening title.
Yeah, that's from the fight with Roverguck. I liked that depiction a lot better. This one is... It's probably because he's also in these huge flowing robes that just look too big for him. But, like, I don't like the face because he's got, like, the black, like, lips, and it looks Insane Clown Posse, and
there's a question about this later, but let me tell you my beef with Asmodeus here.
Oh, I knew this was coming.
Asmodeus is going to be the god of contracts, pride, and slavery and tyranny. So he's bad guy, sure, obviously. He wouldn't look like a clown. That's silly. But also, I really thought that he was way cooler in first edition when you could be lawful neutral. And essentially, you could just be like, I just really like contracts. Like, slavery is whatever. If it's legal, it's legal. So I don't like that they took away the ability to play a lawful neutral, like, cleric of Asmodeus, because I find that a lot more interesting. And any deity that makes you be evil is cartoonish. Like, if you have to be fully, like, full-blown evil, it's kind of, I don't play evil characters, but B, I don't know. He was more interesting when he was a little gray. But now he's not gray.
Yeah.
Black.
Or white, I can kind of agree with that one.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I do like his minor boon. Like, his boons are all really fun, but his minor boon is just like, oh, you failed at diplomacy? You know what? Just have a suggestion. Like, just use suggestion on them.
Yeah. It's like, we'll fix that.
It makes me very happy. That's a good one. Do we have anything else for our boy, Asmodeus? He's pretty classic evil devil
I am
guy.
not gonna lie, I pronounced this wrong for so many years.
Asmodeus?
I always called him Asmodeus.
A lot of people say that too.
Yeah.
It is correct to say Asmodeus.
Asmodeus sounds better.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
remember when I used to do a lot of like research into.
Yeah, Deus is in fitting with the Latin, so Asmodeus or Deus would be fitting with more Latin pronunciation. So.
But Asmodeus is also very well, like, a lot of people say it that way.
I'm gonna say lots of people say Asmodeus. We say Asmodeus.
Maybe this version is Asmodeus because he kind of looks clownish. I miss Asmodeus, who was rad.
Maybe.
Okay, moving on.
All right,
I see somebody getting a major curse in their future.
From this one, the other one would like me. Okay, I think. That's kind of a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
Never mind. Not what I meant to say at all. Okay.
Probably not.
Probably not, because I do good things and I don't believe in slavery and tyranny and I hate reading contracts. I don't know.
I don't believe in slavery and tyranny.
Calistria. She's cool.
Okay. I love her. Her outfit really just says, I don't give a F, and that makes me happy. Like, she's my girl. And she makes me think of Midnight from My Hero Academia. So I just really love her.
I should definitely get, but I'm just blanking on it. I don't know.
I've not watched this show.
She's one of the teachers that's dressed up in the bondage outfit.
Goodness.
That's really inappropriate for teaching at a school. But anyway, I just really I did not know that she was sometimes Caden Kaelin's lover. That was new for me.
Makes
I mean,
sense.
everybody's kind of his lover sometimes. So. He's a charming fellow.
But I didn't know that. He is a very charming fellow, especially because he's Nathan Fillion.
True.
But I did really like reading about her, that she does not actually want her followers to be consumed by a single pursuit.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, and her aphorism was like, love the food, not the chef. It's like.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
I kind of liked that. It's like, live life,
Okay, so.
Don't be consumed.
First of all, I like a spicy lady who's like, F y'all, I do what I want, and wears stiletto boots that are just so sharp they could murder you. That's rad. But second of all, I've never played a real, like a cleric or anything of Calistria, but in society, I have recently been playing a Calistrian cleric who looks like, a fantasy Dolly Parton. And
oh, nice.
Fantasy Dolly Parton with a whip. It's
Dolly
very
Parton is
fun.
a fantasy.
Because you're essentially nice until you're not nice. Yeah. And then, like, in general, it's just good because you can be, like, really mean if you want to be. And it's fine. So that's fun.
Yep.
A lot of waspy things.
I just love Calistria. Thanks.
It's true.
It just makes me happy.
It's true. And then she has some good aphorisms.
And speaking of her lover, she does have
Caden!
some good aphorisms, which I said, love the food, not the chef. And speaking of her lover, Caden Kaelin.
My favorite deity, hands down. Love Caden.
He's fun. His epithet's
who doesn't
fun.
love him? He just got so drunk he became a god.
The accidental god.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. I have to say, one of the funniest questions I think we got for this episode comes from Denev on our Discord, who says, why do so many players play Cadenites here on this server? Talking about the Discord. There are a lot of Cadenites on the server, and most of them are champions. And I think,
to be fair, lots of adventurers worship Caden or Desna. So those are like the two kind of adventurer gods.
travel-y, you know.
Yeah, they're travel-y, or they're
And
in the
also 'cause we
case of
cast Nathan
Caden,
Fillion,
it's
and who doesn't love Nathan Fillion?
well,
he's like
and
an
it's also the
adventure
god
guy.
of alcohol, and like that's a quintessential like you start your adventure in a tavern and then
Yeah.
you go on an adventure, and that's a very
Yes.
Caden kind of vibe.
Yeah,
I
because my
have to
characters
say-
drink, but I don't.
I have to say I'm very pleased that one of his allies is my girl Besmara, because she's awesome.
Yeah.
And that feels fun. Like a night
We
on the
love Besmara.
town, drinking
And
and pirating.
I'm hoping everybody voted for Carla Cugino for the casting, because
Goodness,
she's
is that still
No.
going?
No.
The
I
one
don't
thing
know.
that's missing on this that I is from the Inner Sea World Guides. My favorite fact about Caden is that worshippers of Caden put an extra tankard down in their churches, which is also a bar, but it's glued down. And if Caden comes by, it's going to be moved because he, of course, can do all things. So
Yeah, he
it's
magic
one of
boy.
those like nods to like
Oh.
his own divinity, because he's known to just like come down occasionally and just party with mortals. So I wish
Yeah,
they'd put
That'd
that
be
back in
cool.
there.
I
'Cause
want
I thought
that
that
to
was a really
happen in an
cool...
AP sometime.
That would be rad.
Oh, dude, I've had dreams of that for my like
Yeah.
entire Pathfinder career of
It's so
getting to meet
cool.
Caden and him
All
just being
right,
like
Rick,
chill
if
dude.
you're watching, you need to have some divine intervention with Caden to come drink with us.
Oh, that'd
Also,
be tight.
speaking
Make
of
that happen.
no, it's a bad segue. Whatever. I'm gonna go back in time a few minutes. Everybody, rewind your brain for like 30 seconds. It does literally say in here that a lot of orphanages are done by like Caden faith, like friendly priests and that sort of
Mhm.
thing, and a lot of the children
Yep.
take the surname Kaleen to honor him. So there's a lot, like he's kind of
Yeah.
the adventure guy. Like a lot of adventurers are orphans because like what do you got to lose, I guess.
I mean, we've got the joke of the Jagares, but we could also do a whole
Yeah.
like entire adventuring party
I
of
know,
just all
do
the
a whole group of
Kaleens.
like little orphan
Little
Kaleens.
Kaleens.
Well, orphan Kaleens.
And it's just like a kobold, a goblin, like a half orc, and a human, and they're all Kaleens.
Yeah, there you go.
And they just run around.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yes.
so great.
That'd be cute.
Yeah, they
his
also-
boons
they
are
also-
funny.
All right.
Well, before you do
His
that,
boons are.
they also, another fact that that they didn't put in this because they don't have heralds in this is when he became a god, he took his mortal dog and was like, "You'd make a good herald," and just turned it into a herald. So
Pupper.
Yep.
his herald is literally his faithful companion dog, which is the cutest.
Heck yeah. His
Yeah.
minor boon helps you be good at not having a hangover. That's rad.
Helpful.
Helpful. Fun.
Very helpful.
All right.
I like one of his aphorisms, which is, "I'm great, but not so great as Caden Galing."
It's true. All right. Talking about our girl Desna next. Goddess of dreams, luck, stars, and travelers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I wish she was mothy instead of butterfly.
I think I like the
I like
butterfly. I think the butterflies.
I kinda
It's
feel like she's both.
yeah, but
Yeah.
her isn't her herald a moth?
A giant moth. Yeah, I know,
Giant
but I
moth,
just
I
feel
think.
like
Yeah.
dreams and stars, like moths make more sense. Plus, how cool would she look with like the Luna moth, like as her symbol, and like more green than
Oh.
blue or purple or whatever. Neat.
That'd be kind of
Eh,
cool.
I
If
don't
I
know.
was
I
doing
mean-
that splintered faith, maybe that's the way I go.
Maybe that'd be your version of it. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
She
I
does
like her
tend
as
to
she
be
is.
my default. Yeah, she's my default. If I ever am like, I need a god to pick, and I'm like, doesn't it make sense? And she kind of reminds me of like like the '60s hippie goddess.
It's true.
You know,
little
like,
bit,
be
yeah, she
free,
just kinda,
go out
like,
and
floats
travel, experience
along.
the world.
Yeah, it's true. She has a lot of really
Yeah.
cool aphorisms too. I really like "A star cannot see its place in the sky." It's all about like
I know,
don't
it's
doubt
so
that you're on the
cool.
right path, and it's very cool. And her minor boon is maybe like the best ever. It's you take a sleep, you
Yes.
recover all of your hit points, you remove all of your
Mhm.
negative conditions, you become free of curses and diseases, and it's rad for you.
Yeah, that's a pretty again
I
for
just need
a
that in
minor
real
one.
life.
It's pretty
Yeah.
powerful.
Maybe it's because we're all millennials,
Yeah.
but like, man, a night of sleep where you just feel rested.
Well, because she gifts you the deep sleep, so it's like the best gift a millennial can
I
get is
never
the
get
deep
deep
sleep.
sleep.
Sleeping, yay!
Oh. It's just out of reach, the deep sleep.
It's true.
There's definitely like that's almost better than her moderate boon just because of the deep sleep.
Oh man. Okay.
Yep.
Anything else about Desna? We have so many gods. We're gonna be here forever.
Yeah,
I know. That's why I'm like,
I have to
we'll
crank.
Moving on.
It's good.
Moving on.
Rastal.
Erastil, old Deadeye, the god of family,
Old
farming, hunting, and trade.
So you were just saying there's nothing about farming in here.
I don't think farming's a domain though.
No, I mean it's not.
I want it to be a domain because I want to bring back my rice cleric. Anyway,
Oh.
A things you
see
wish
that.
were in this book.
I do think he's got one of the best nicknames.
Old
Old
Deadeye.
Deadeye.
Old Deadeye is just cool.
It's
Yeah.
rad.
But it makes
He's
you think of
very
like
cool.
a Western. Like, that's Old
Yeah.
Deadeye.
It does. He's pretty cool. The thing with him is kind of weird to be an adventurer that follows Erastil because you're supposed to be about like your community. So anytime I played a paladin of Erastil in 1E, and her thing was like her community had kind of been destroyed, and so she was like out in the world doing things. But I don't know.
I think it almost worked better if you had like maybe a group that or like a adventuring party that's all family, or if you were
City campaign.
part of a cult. Yeah, city campaign I think would probably work. Like if you lived on the outskirts or something.
You could be really lame and do the whole "we're all family."
Yeah, I mean that.
Yeah.
His
I will
aphorisms are
say,
funny.
yeah, the aphorisms are good. All the aphorisms in this book are good, but he has by
do like
far the worst major curse.
Yeah.
Let me tell you all about this. So his major curse is Erastil leaves you unable to have children or otherwise reproduce or propagate if you do so in a different manner. This curse also affects your livestock, pets, and crops.
Like, just no.
Like not just you.
Yeah.
Like it's not just you're gonna have a bad life. Like
A
everything
curse on
around you that you own has a bad
A
life.
curse on your cow. Curse
Yes,
on your
exactly.
whole family.
Like it's
Like,
bad. Like
everything.
that's really bad. So you must have to do
It's-
something
it's-
really bad to get that.
Also,
Yeah.
his aphorism
So
is
don't pick
never
off
trust
Erastil.
a fool. Like, duh. Like, he's
I
very,
mean,
like,
yeah,
yeah, okay, sure.
that's some country wisdom right there. Where
Country
it's like just
wisdom.
never trust a fool, man.
Yeah,
Erastil.
I can
country
imagine your
wisdom.
dad saying that.
Oh my god. All right, moving on because we have so many gods. Gorham, our Lord in
Yep.
Iron, Mr. Spiky Pants McGee.
I do love.
I just
Gorham.
saw him and thought, rah! And then I thought, oh, rhino.
He does have the rhinoceros as his sacred animal, which is rad.
Yes.
It's a sacred animal.
It's very
he's
weird.
Never, he's never super spoken to me as a deity. I'm just not a big fan of war. But, I mean, he's
Yeah.
cool.
I do appreciate his art. That is like one of the real world depictions of him. Is literally a suit of armor they've just shoved full of like arrows and blades to make it kind of look human, and been like,
It's
that's
neat.
our guy.
It's neat.
Yep. He's
Pretty
kind of got a Sauron-esque look going, though.
With the red eyes and everything, he's a little Sauron-esque. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True.
I will say his aphorism, iron-tongued, is great.
That is cool. That is cool.
You know, because it's like, it's used to describe people who always manage to say the right thing to start a fight. I've known people like this in
I wish
real
to
life.
learn
Yes,
this
no,
and
for
use it
sure.
in my life. All right, moving
Goodness.
along.
Gozra.
Gozra. Gozra. Go-to follower for all the druids I've ever made my whole life.
It's
Yep.
true.
Branching out now, but it used to just always be, I like nature. Gozra.
Well, and I enjoy Gozra for the non-binary aspect of them,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
how it's like if you're worshiping the water version, it's female. If you're worshiping the air version, it's male. I always thought
when
that
they're
was a really
together,
interesting.
it's both anyway. Like there's
Yeah,
it's not
so
really one or
it's-
the
Yeah,
other.
which is cool.
Yeah, that's why I like the duality of it in a more literal sense of they're kind of two different incarnations of the same deity.
Yeah. I didn't know that their followers wore their hair long.
Hmm.
Like apparently that's just like a thing that they wear it really long and they decorate it with like coral and shells.
You
and all
gotta
that
feel the
stuff, and-
breeze, man.
Yeah, apparently
makes
even
sense, that
in
makes
like they grow the
sense.
beards real long and everything. Like yeah.
True.
It's another one of those deities that I could see being like a hippie commune deity. It's like,
Yeah.
man, you just gotta like feel the breeze and like chill out. Like Gozra will do what Gozra will do, man.
hmm I like it's very calm. Like, nature's nature. Bad things happen. It is what
Yeah.
it is. Like,
Yep.
yep. I like it a lot. Big fan. All right.
Yep.
Iamade, Ross's favorite god.
I think
Yep.
so.
Classic good
Yeah,
guy
I'm
deity.
pretty sure that's Ross's favorite.
Classic
Yeah.
good guy deity.
Also youngest.
Yeah, weird
Yeah.
fact I did not know about Iamade that's revealed in here is Iamade's cloak switches from white to red when she goes to
Yes,
battle.
that was
like
cool.
that's some cool like Spawn level coolness
That's
that
in the
I did not know she
aphorism.
had.
Now I'm
Yeah.
gonna say
Don't compare
like
her to Spawn.
I don't
She's like
know.
the
I just like the
opposite
idea
of
of
Spawn.
her cloak just like changing colors and it's like it's business time.
well, yeah, it's like it's business time, and now we can be calling people starting fights like, their cloak turned red. Like that's the aphorism.
Yeah.
And then we all get this nice image of like essentially like, oh, we're gonna fight. Let me flip my cloak over. Hiya.
Yeah. That's kind of cool.
If I was
do
a
enjoy-
follower, I would have a 2-sided cloak
Yeah.
that I flipped. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be
I-
cool. Yeah.
I do enjoy that she is the only woman to pass the test of the Starstone.
True.
Yep.
And
True.
so that's why she's like a haven for women fleeing oppression. But I also like that all of her followers, they do not bury themselves with their sword. Well, obviously, they're not burying themselves, but they are not buried with their
And
swords.
Geb, you bury yourself.
Yeah, no, right? But they believe that you should pass them down and be used, and I kind of like that. It's like, just be.
Yeah, never let a
continuously
good
used.
weapon rust. Kind of a
Yeah.
vibe to it, you know.
I kind of like that.
Cool.
So,
Moving
might
on
be
to
some Avadar.
Rory. He's cool. His favorite animal is a snail,
that's so cute.
which is
You
so
know,
cute.
The
Patient.
snail is always working.
The snail takes things at its own pace.
Yeah.
Yep. I liked reading that apparently he used differentiated practices, and my inner teacher approves.
Yes.
Yep.
Differentiate for
Yeah.
your students. Very good. Very good.
Yes. And
Well, it's also that interesting thing of having the domain of the master of masters. He's mastered everything, and so he's a master of everything, and also knows how to teach everything.
It's
Which
a
I thought was just
self-reflection
it's a
thing.
really interesting kind of vibe of all teachers are students of Rory.
Yeah.
well, that's why I loved his aphorism. There is no perfection without change.
Yeah, that
Yep.
was good. Also,
There's good like life lessons in Rory's.
May a Rory forget you.
Oh,
That's
doesn't that sound like shade?
It sounds
Oh,
like
that's some
shade.
serious shade.
It's-
Let
you're
the
cursing
god of
someone.
history forget about you.
Oh,
Yeah.
let him forget
Like
you.
you're not worth
Well,
it.
the variant Rory, may a Rory forget this is oh, that was so embarrassing. A Rory forget this. This never happened.
I'd be saying that one
I like
way
both
more than
sides
I
of
would
that
like.
coin.
It's true. I like it a lot. All right, we move on to Lamashtu, who this art is not as cool as the art at the beginning of this book, where she's just
Yeah.
like, it's very cool.
Yeah, this one she's hunched
Squatting down.
over.
Yeah.
I
Come
like
on.
her. Of evil deities, I don't often like an evil deity, but I'm probably like, she's cool. Like Lamashtu, like Noel, cleric of Lamashtu, who's really into like making monsters. Something about making monsters is cool. Like, I don't know. I just feel like there's something very cool there. Like her vibes are neat. I don't know.
I don't know. Reading about her like wanting to control her children, though, I'm like, oh my god, you're like the worst helicopter parent.
Yeah.
ever.
Yes.
She
Yes.
is. It's true. But also, like, thanks, Gozra. Or, Gozra? What?
Lamashtu.
Thanks, Lamashtu, or else we wouldn't have things to fight in Pathfinder.
Yep.
Yep. Pretty much all monsters.
Yep. And her little depiction jar eating, like, the organs or whatever. Very
Oh,
cool.
God. Yeah.
It was weirdly like kind of made me think Egyptian, but not,
It is
'Cause
kinda
it's
like a
the
canoptic jar,
kind of.
Yeah, but she's neat. I think she's fun. I like her. She's creepy.
Yeah.
And then we got our boy Nethys, who's, like, the coolest. I love him, obviously.
Yeah.
He's interesting in that like all the gods got little tweaks. I didn't really feel like Nethys needed any change, nor did he get any change.
Nah.
He's
His
a very
favorite
consistent
animal's
deity.
silly.
That it's a zebra just because it's black and white. It's literally just because it's black and white.
Black and white, but also, I mean, he started out in Osirian.
Yeah.
Are zebras native to Egypt?
Well, they're native to Africa.
I mean,
The
I guess they are.
continent, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just
I
seems
don't know, man.
weird.
I don't
It's
know.
just because they're black and white.
Nethys has just always been very Faustian to me. He wanted
Yeah.
all the knowledge, and when he got all of it, he went cuckoo.
He giveth and he taketh. That's the deal with Nethys.
Yep.
His boons are so great. Like, he will, like, for his boons, he'll just, like, his minor boon, he'll just show up and, like, cast a spell for you.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yep.
you could use a 9th level spell. You only cast 8th level spells? Here's a spell.
Give it
and-
a go. See how it works.
And his curses are, like, the opposite. You just get stupid. He's just like,
Yeah.
no, be dumb. Like, how dare
No,
you?
well, I mean, the worst
How
one if
dare.
you're a spellcaster is his major curse, where it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
he severs your connection to magic. You can no longer
Yeah.
cast
Yeah.
spells. Period. Like,
And I'm going to incorporate
oh.
these aphorisms into Hollis's vernacular, because I already had the bottom one, but I had not heard that which is not there is.
I could see Hollis saying that just
It's
to
so
confuse
cryptic.
Citra.
Nonsense. I love it.
what is it? Start
Very
the
good.
conspiracy board up again just to try to figure out what that
Yeah.
means.
Right. Citra's like, I need to borrow your string.
Of course, I have 3 colors. Okay. But yeah, he's cool. I mean, he's the god of magic. He's good magic. He's bad magic. I like the stance of magic just being a tool.
Yeah.
People will wield it as they wield it.
Yeah.
It's not good or bad. It's just magic.
Just is.
It's what you do with it.
All right. Then we got Nagaba.
Burgerberg.
He's so sneaky. He doesn't even have a body in his thing. He's just clothing.
He's invisible all the time. He's basically the invisible man in deity form.
His clothing isn't invisible, and in invisibility, your clothing also becomes invisible. So he did this on purpose.
No, this is the kind of it's the thing where you want to do the creepy thing where you have the cloak pulled up and you can't see what the face is. Like he's doing it for the creep factor.
But also the arms.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he's got the no face thing going on.
I don't know.
I guess so. It is weird. His realm is called Dusk Fathom, which is cool.
That is kind of cool.
Yep.
I did like that he's worshipped in 4 different aspects. I knew about Father Skinsaw.
Yep.
Because we'd played Rise of the Rune Lords and everything, but I didn't know about the Black Fingers, the Grey Master, the Reaper reputation. So learning about those 3 areas was actually pretty cool.
I think it's because you really don't see people follow Norgaber very often because how would you
it's
even
a
find
secret
out about
society,
this guy,
basically.
You know?
Yeah.
He makes me think of the Dark Brotherhood in Skyrim. Like you have to accidentally murder a lady and then get a weird bloody handprint in the mail, and then you're like, oh, okay.
That's a thing, yeah.
I guess they want me to join.
Or maybe they want to murder me. I don't know.
It's hard to tell, and it's even hard to tell with Burgerberg. You don't know what his motives are because he has erased your memory.
All right, on to Pharasma. Pharasma, we all know Pharasma pretty well.
Yeah.
She's
I will say the art of this incarnation of Pharasma is drastically different than the previous one. She got a bit of a glam.
Makeover?
Yeah, a bit of a glam up.
I like the tarot card imagery better on the second page than the actual art. I think it I don't know. There's something about the face that I think fits her better in the second one. Maybe that's just me, but I really like it. And then I loved the aphorism, the lady shall keep it.
I like that.
Keeping your secrets to the grave. I really liked that.
It is good. But yeah, she's great. Moving on. Roverguck. He's a big bug.
I think in my notes, in my notes, I literally just put shudder.
Okay. But his favorite his favorite animal is the scorpion, which I think is a miss because it should have been a goat because they eat anything.
So do pigs.
Or pig.
I think a pig could have worked.
Either of these things. I like pigs. I like goats too, but they eat anything, and Roverguck kind of ate it. He's literally
that's true.
A spider, but with a mouth is his holy symbol. Just his body is a mouth on the holy symbol situation.
He's a goat spider.
So I'm just saying, if we're picking thematic animals, scorpion is kind of a weird animal to pick.
That's a bit weird. It's probably just because he, looks scary. But scorpions are actually, I think they're kind of cool looking. But
they're very cool looking.
So
you just gotta stop being, stingy. Don't scare a scorpion; it won't sting you. How about that?
Yep. I do appreciate they also mentioned the spawn of Roverguck.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you kind of have to because they're the big problem now.
It's also just really weird to think about being a follower of Roverguck. I get following Grotus because the end of the world and stuff, but destroying everything includes yourself.
I don't know. It's very, very weird to me.
It's very much that some people just want to watch the world burn, anarchist, burn it all to the ground kind of vibe, I guess. I don't know. I've never really understood it either.
I've never really understood it.
That's just not my vibe for characters I make.
Yeah,
so
true.
Well, let's talk about the lady who helped lock him up.
Yeah, Serenray, rad. Big fan of Serenray. I think my first character followed her.
She doesn't have her flamey hair though.
I think this one looks more flamey.
This looks more flamey. Yeah, this one is more flamey.
But I don't think it's flamey enough because in the picture on the second page, it's kind of got that Aztec look, and that's flames.
That's very neat. Yes.
Yeah,
Serenray's cool. The idea of redemption is super a really nice thing to put in adventure backstories. I'm surprised more people don't seem to be worshiping her in the Path Lodge and stuff. But there are a lot of Cadenites. There's a couple of Serenites, but the whole idea of redemption is awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting to see another side of her followers while we were playing through Mummy's Mask.
Yeah, true.
if you're not caught up with us, I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but there is some history going on in Osirian where the Serenites aren't necessarily the heroes.
Yeah.
And so that it's been really interesting to see that in our game, and
Yeah.
I've thoroughly enjoyed that.
Well, because people ultimately have an influence on what happens with the churches of these deities, so that's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
Anything else on Svenray? I think she's cool. Sun is nice.
She's just awesome. So.
She apparently is a lover of Shalyn. Like, she and Shalyn are occasionally lovers, which is cool.
Again, everybody loves
Shalyn.
Speaking of Shalyn, her hair is very cool, and she's nice.
I love her hair.
And I like the little bluebird that's singing on the harp. It's very cute.
Yeah. She's very Disney princess.
Yes, super Disney princess, yes.
I will say, though, I've kind of loved Shalyn ever since we played through
Curse of the Crimson Throne.
Curse of the Crimson Throne, and we learned about her relationship with her brother Zonkathon, and it makes me so sad because it explains so much of why she does what she does and why she believes what she believes
and why she has a big glaive
and why she has a big
also
old
why
glaive.
there's a big glaive.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very sad but kind of inspiring, so I've always really liked Shalyn.
Yeah, she's neat. I like the idea of there's strength in loving someone. It's harder to have compassion than it is to hate people. The idea of trying to be this beacon of love in a world that's really hard is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of shows also with her sacred colors being all colors. So she doesn't discriminate in what she likes. So if you want to wear all black, wear all black. If you want to wear bright multicolored clothing, wear bright multicolored clothing.
Oh, man. A goth follower of Shalyn would be so cool.
Oh, I want to do it.
You could totally do it, too. There's nothing wrong with that, right? You do you.
That would be very fun. That'd be very fun.
Shalyn loves you no matter what.
That's right.
She does. Okay. Oh, a pastel goth. Yeah, that'd be great. All right, then we got, Taurag over here. Father of creation, dwarfiest dwarf that ever dwarfed looking guy.
I like that they did him as a dwarf this time, because I always think of him more as a dwarven kind of focused deity than human.
He's a dwarf.
And in Inner Sea Gods, he was done as a man.
Boo.
Which is kind of whatever,
No. I think he looks better like this. And I just like Taurag is, it doesn't matter what your craft is, take pride in it and do it. Practice your skills. And I
do
like
a good
that.
job.
Yeah.
Also, sacred animal badger, which is rad.
Honey badger don't give a blank.
Also, his divine protege is Nivi Rombodazzle, which is amazing.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna
have
to
to
name
together.
Rombodazzle.
Yeah.
Her and him in an image, him trying to teach her things, is amazing. It's an amazing thought. I love it.
It's great. I didn't know anything about her, and I can't wait till we get to her.
Yeah. She's very fun. Okay. I like that his little extra picture is almost like a chess piece.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It is. Yeah, it is a chess piece, I think, or
Yeah.
something similar, some similar game.
He is a very neat
the
boy.
Golarion equivalent.
Also, his moderate boon is you are counted as family among Taurag and his followers. You gain the effects of a single dwarf ancestry feat of Taurag's choice, even if you are not a dwarf, as long as you maintain Taurag's blessing.
That's pretty cool.
He's a dwarf guy.
I like.
Yep.
Then we come to Ergathoa, the pallid princess.
Speaking of goth chicks.
Her art's
I've
cute.
always
I don't know.
It's one of those things where it's like, oh man, she's got a really cute face. I love her hair. Wait, where's the rest of her? Just all gone.
It feels like.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not expecting the deity of undeath to be pretty, but it is weird. Also, never understood why you'd want to be undead, because most of the followers we run into are ghouls and ghasts, and they smell real bad.
Well, maybe she loses her sense of smell. I don't know.
It's one of those things you can't smell your own funk.
I think that people can, but also I think that if you're going to try to live forever, you might as well just go back to first edition, play a druid to 20th level. You get timeless body, you live forever. It's fine.
I do like that her sacred animal is a fly, which have the shortest lifespans.
That feels right. Well, also they gather around dead things,
I mean, that's true.
I've always liked the art because it's interesting, but
yeah,
she just irritates me because it just reminds me of all those people in life that just take and take and take and take.
Greedy.
And like it.
She is the goddess
just
of
hate it.
gluttony as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
It irks me as a person.
Yes. Yes.
Also, I'm just triggered by scythes.
Scythes are so scary.
Scythes are scary, man.
They have
like,
no right
that's
to
the
be this
scariest part of
scary.
her artwork is just the big old scythe she's got.
It's true. It's
I
scary.
think I have less of a thing about scythes just because I used to read Immortal Reign and I loved her in that. So
I like scythes, but they just always murder us. So I feel
they
sad
do
about
always
them in
murder us.
Pathfinder.
That's true.
I never
That's true.
play with scythes, which is weird.
I did once when we did the beta test for the occultist book, and I played my
Also-
spiritualist with a scythe.
Her aphorism is "rot in the gut, froth in the mouth." So
I
gross.
just hate it.
I don't like it at all.
hate it.
All right, moving on to Hellraiser. I mean Zonkathon. We got a lot to say about Zonkathon, but let me start us off with something. This made me so mad. His favorite or his sacred animal is the bat. How dare?
Oh, yep.
How dare you give the bat
Like-
to this horrifying, horrible thing? They're
I
communal.
I
they're
want to think-
pollinators. They eat bad things. Bats are amazing, beautiful,
I-
nice animals.
My only thing is I kind of wonder if that was like his favorite animal before,
Hmm.
and then you just don't stop loving them
I don't
because you
think
go
so.
evil.
I think his favorite animal
I don't know.
before was probably like.
It's
the
really
wolf
just
or
because he likes
something.
the darkness.
It's like
Yeah.
it's a.
It's a choice between bats and owls. You know,
Yeah,
things
but
that
I
love
mean,
the
let's
dark.
be honest. An owl is more vicious than a bat. Bats are basically
Yep.
flying puppies.
They're very nice and good.
They
and
are
I
very
love them,
dog-like.
and I
They're so
can't
cute.
believe I was so mad. Okay, now I'm done ranting. That was my rant. It was not cool. It should have been a cockroach. That's a horrifying thing.
Ew.
You just
The
want
I mean,
only
you
time
wanna
I've ever
torture
liked a
people,
cockroach is
cockroaches
when I
will
was
torture
watching
people.
Wall-E.
If you want to
Oh.
make people suffer, though, you put one of those gigantic cockroaches in their house, like on a wall, and you make them like sit in the room with it. That would torture me. I would hate that.
Yes.
I know.
I agree with
Because you
that.
locked me in our apartment once with that.
It's true. I require someone else to kill those bugs.
Just so everyone knows, she literally locked herself in her bedroom and
That
put a
was
towel
bee.
under
that
the
was
door.
like a wasp.
Oh, that was a wasp.
That was a
yeah. No,
wasp.
you and our other friend called me from a dead sleep to come kill a roach.
Yes, that happened.
Even though that
Indeed.
happened.
Mhm.
Yeah, y'all are sucky.
You know, it is what I don't like to kill bugs. They're very scary.
I know.
Okay,
That's
anyway,
usually why
okay.
it's my job.
Let's
now it's
actually talk
Jordan's
about
job.
him. We're doing things. It's true. He also hates it. So Zonkathon's big thing is pain.
Okay, so I kind of like I want to know what he saw that turned him into what he is, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to know, and I
You
just
don't
feel
wanna
like
know.
Shalyn really has her work cut out for her to save her brother.
That'd be a cool AP. You play like demigods and you're helping Shalyn.
Yeah, and like having a brother myself who I do love, but I don't know if I'd go that far for him.
I mean, it's pretty intense.
It is. I guess I wouldn't know unless I was in that situation, but that hopefully I'm not a goddess. So
his whole shtick has always been weird to me because, like,
yeah.
suffering is a part of a lot of religions, and like even in our world, like there's this whole idea
Yeah.
of like overcoming suffering, but his version of overcoming suffering is just like learning to like it, and that's
Yeah.
And then inflict it on other people.
right. And so then you die, and your reward is more suffering.
Yeah,
know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems
Yeah.
like a bad deal.
The
honestly.
only part of Zonkathon that I really, really like is that without him, we wouldn't have gotten Lowry.
Lowry's a
And,
great
yeah.
little NPC.
She's probably my favorite NPC ever. I
Yeah,
love
his minor boon is very cool sounding. So, the Midnight Lord turns your blood and pain into chains of midnight darkness to destroy your foes. That's rad.
it. It is pretty cool.
But the rest of him is like, I don't know.
yeah.
Which leads us to
Like-
questions. James from our Patreon asked, would you ever consider playing a follower of Zonkathon, a cleric perhaps? Is that a type of is that type of character viable in any party, evil parties notwithstanding?
I know that if Heather was here, she would definitely say yes. I mean, I think
Oh, of course. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, she definitely would. I think we could probably make it work. It would be very awkward, but I don't think it would mesh very well.
I think the biggest problem with it is the anathema for Zonkathon is it is anathema to end the suffering of others.
Yeah, so
you cannot heal other people.
Unless you're
very
also
strange.
making them suffer.
Unless it's hurting them somehow, which that's not really a thing. So
yeah,
I
don't know.
You
And
could play one if you have another healer in the party that's doing the healing and you're just doing the hurting.
yeah, I don't think it would work for me. I tend to play characters that are, if I'm gonna go evil, they tend to be redeemed later. So I don't think I would be able to do it.
If I'm gonna go
Also, I just
evil,
don't like
it's
hurting
gonna
people.
be chaotic nature-based evil. But I don't know, man. Like, who wants to hang out with that guy? Like, who wants to hang out with the one that's like, ah, the suffering, excellent? Or are they going to secretly try to make everyone in the party suffer? Like, I just feel like you're asking for trouble.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
We might have to veto that one.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to, go for it. But, you know, I don't know. Don't play in my games with me. I don't want to play with you.
But
not when
Heather
you're playing
would.
that. Heather would love it.
Heather
Give
would
her
definitely
a call if you want to play like an all Zonkathon party or something.
She would be down.
game.
She loves Hellraiser.
It's true.
She also just likes Zonkathon for some reason. I'm not sure why.
To each their own.
Yep.
The chat has some funny comments to say. Not So Free Willy says the cleric of Zonkathon could take the medic background and the risky surgery feat, which
you're sitting there the whole time going, all right, come on, that one.
It's the person that anytime they have to do an injection, they have to stab you 4 times before they get it right.
Yeah.
RevCon says a bard of Zonkathon and all she can do is telemarketing.
Ooh, that's an evil one.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty.
That's pretty
bad.
evil.
Pretty good. Wolf Mafia says a Cthulhunite cleric that is just Michael from The Good Place. It's pretty good.
That's interesting because it's all psychological torture. It's not physical torture, and you can totally do that. Yeah.
Very
nice.
So you're like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Huh.
All right.
I could go for that.
Now we move on to the minor deities, some of which we've heard of and some of which I had never heard of before.
Yeah, some of them I have not heard of.
So now we'll start with Akak, another Heather favorite. It's too bad Heather's not here.
Yeah.
He's a big old mantis.
I cannot think of Akak without thinking of Buffy. It's like 3rd or 4th episode in season 1 where you have the substitute teacher that's a mantis that's killing some of the boys. And because of that, I feel like Akak should be female.
Akak should be female because the male mantises are the ones that die after copulation.
Yeah. It just makes
Well,
more
that's why
sense.
he's never going to mate with anyone.
Yeah, but if you wanted a real deadly scary mantis, it should be the lady mantis.
It should be the lady.
Actually, it does say in here, while many of Akak's faithful attribute the mantis god with a masculine identity, Akak holds himself beyond the mortal conventions of gender, just as he eschews ancestry in most mortal affairs. So he is actually a gender.
Okay, then that works.
Or they are actually
I did read that, but I think what bothers me is that he's attributed as male.
Ah, true.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
That's
We will just attribute him as her, and Akak we will now say
it
her.
does. They do use the he pronoun for him within his section.
But we, like all humans, will defy their written standards and make our own.
Yes.
Also,
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Yes. I like that his sister is Grandmother Spider, who is always trying to get him to rebel against the gods. That makes me exceedingly happy because I like her.
It does make me happy.
Yes.
Mantises, not that scary. Interesting choice for a scary god.
Yeah.
He's spiny.
He's got a lot of spikies.
Yeah.
All right. Alceta is cool. She is the next
I'd never
one.
heard of her.
I hadn't either. The Welcomer.
I hadn't heard of her either.
She's cool. She is the goddess of doors, portals, thresholds, and traditions. She's lawful neutral, which is interesting.
Yeah, so I think she's a play on the Roman goddess Janus, or Janus,
He's a
depending on
guy.
if you're going for the thing, which is again two-faced deity that is gods of doors and transitions and change.
Yeah, I think so too.
And so
Also,
I think
is it a Buffy
there's
episode?
very good similarities here that I was like, wait a second, that looks kind of familiar.
I think it'd be kind of cool to play a follower that's like you're just really obsessed with doors. Like you don't fully understand your religion. You're not like a cleric. You're just like a lay person who worships them, and you're like really into doors. Like you want to stop and
It'd be good
investigate
for
the
a gnome.
doors.
It would be excellent for a
you're
gnome
like a
because you can be
craftsman
weird and
of
get away with
doors.
things as a gnome.
Fun.
Yeah,
I just think it'd be weird.
that'd be cool.
All
I like
right,
it.
next, Erasni.
I love me some Erasni.
I
Just love her symbol.
I'm into. This is the kind of evil I'm into. Okay, she's all like
The neutral evil.
how? No, it's not necessarily. It's the things, right? She cares about abused people and not letting people abuse you, even if you have to murder the bejesus out of them. And I'm
Also
down.
doesn't like unwilling undeath. She's cool with if you want to be willingly
whatever
turned
you
into
want.
an undead.
Yeah.
but don't be forced to be that way. But
And
I really like it.
I tried not to read too far because I didn't want any spoilers or anything. But I really enjoyed her alternate domain of sorrow because I think it makes so much sense for what she had to suffer through. And
Mhm.
I just really like her.
Yeah, she
Just
is
really
very
like her.
fun. Because she's
For
kind
more,
of like
for,
an evil Milani.
Kind of.
yeah. For more on her, see our Tyrant's Grasp Patreon exclusive, where Erasni is featured quite heavily in some of the content we've already recorded.
True.
Yeah.
All right, and then we've got also amazing Besmara. She's great.
Take what you can, give nothing back.
I love her. I love that she is the deity of piracy, sea monsters, and strife, sea monsters. That's rad. Continues into Starfinder because she's also like space monsters. There's like Besmaran whelps.
Yep.
Very
And
cool.
spaceships.
Big fan.
Yeah, because like she kind of reminds me, I'm not gonna lie, of Ergathoa a little bit because it's all about kind of taking, but I feel like she's not taking it in the same way as
She's got a
Ergathoa.
code.
She's got a code.
Part of her
you know?
edicts is stay loyal to captain and crew.
Yeah.
Right? It's
So that's why I like her
anathema to
better.
betray shipmates. Like it really harkens back to how piracy, like
Yeah.
democracy on pirate ships and the way that like
Mhm.
pirate crews were, they treated each other well generally. They treated everybody else really bad, but like there was like order in chaos. It's very
There's
good.
a honor among
Yeah.
thieves kind
Honor
of a thing.
among
Yeah.
thieves.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I like her a lot. She's very fun.
Yep.
I also
like her.
appreciate that on her avatar spell. So for those who don't know, avatar makes you an avatar of your deity. So they
Mhm.
give unique abilities to anybody who worships Besmara. It gives you like a rapier, that's just a really powerful rapier. But then your ranged is literally a ship's cannon. So I'm just imagining you turn into an avatar of Besmar and you've just got this big old cannon under one arm and you're
yes.
just blowing people away with it. So I love the imagery of that. I just think that's
It's pretty
super
cool.
fun.
I'm now mentally like, how do I get the avatar spell? And will I be to a level where I can take it?
You have to be a cleric of Besmara to do it, I
You
believe.
have to be a cleric? Oh.
Or cast off
Oh.
the divine list,
Okay.
I
Fine.
think.
Bummer.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
All right.
It does say a worshiper of Besmara though, so you'd have to be like a sorcerer with that follows Besmara or something like that.
All right, Bri. Bri looks really, really cool.
I like
love
Bri.
She's like a porcelain construct looking lady. She is very neat.
I know, like, there's like several different ideas of how she came to be, and I like the one where she was a construct who achieved consciousness and a spark of divinity. Like, I think that's just cool. Other than, she was a human alchemist and inventor who like discovers it. I was like, no, I kind of like the idea that she was just came to be.
That
like,
she's
it's-
always been
Yeah.
a clockwork construct kind of
Yeah.
a vibe. Yeah.
I like it
Yeah.
a lot. I also like I like that her favorite weapon is like a little hammer. It's like a light hammer, so it's like tink tink tink.
Yeah.
Except of course it's
Ding, ding.
a weapon, but
Big enough to hurt
yeah.
people.
I find that very fun. She's kind of like a tinkerer.
She very much looks like the clockwork robots from the Doctor Who episode in France.
Mm-hmm.
It's very
Mm.
similar to
Minus the
that
French
style.
costume.
Minus the French costume, yes.
She's so cool. She looks
Yes.
so
She's
cool.
so cool.
And this is
And
going to be
then-
a deep cut, but she looks like a Prime Warframe, which if anybody plays
Oh.
Warframe, you'll get that reference.
She does look like a Warframe.
Yep.
I don't
If
get
you
it.
don't play
That's
play
okay.
Warframe, it looks like a really cool suit of armor.
And then we
Yeah.
have Cassandra, the Iron Goddess, whose symbol is
Which-
literally like a circuit.
Yeah, I didn't actually read this one because I started playing
It
through
has
Iron
spoilers
Gods.
for
and I
Iron
didn't-
Gods.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I didn't read this one after I read like the first paragraph, and I was like, oh,
I will say this is surprisingly good at not actually spoiling that adventure path.
Okay.
This is like one of those, like, if you didn't know that is a thing, it was mentioned in Starfinder. It's, it's mentioned in Second Edition.
True.
Cassandra kind of a thing.
I like that she has
Yeah, I
floating
didn't
math
really know.
symbols.
Yeah.
It does actually mention the fact that she appears in her what used to be her mortal guise, which here's the thing that kind of bugged me is the art that they have has her with black hair, but it specifically says she has purple hair in the actual description
Bummer.
of her. So that was a little bit of a mismatch between the art and the actual
Yeah.
description of her.
They
But
must
when
have
she
missed that.
appears as a hologram made of algorithms and mathematical symbols and stuff.
Cool.
And I was like, oh, cool. She's just code. But like,
I'm very pleased
you can
with
see her.
this.
It's like
That's
really
cool.
rad. I
She is
also
very-
appreciate, again, I like the avatar abilities, but her ranged attack, if you do her avatar, is to hit them with logic. And then say logic blast of I'm just imagining it's just hitting you with
Just-
math.
it's
And it's
just
like,
fuck.
I can't calculate.
It's a geometric proof. It's like one of those proofs you had to do in geometry.
Oh, one of those like awful
Ugh.
ones. Yeah.
I
did a lot
thankfully
of those
never
in
had to
college.
do those.
Then we have
Oh,
Chaldira.
I did an entire class on that for computer science.
Ew.
I have
Oh.
never used it. It was
No,
awful.
I took geometry in summer school, so they had to cut that part out to fit
Oh, you
the
were
curriculum.
lucky. I hate proofs. I hate mathematical proofs.
All right, Chaldira.
Is
That's
it
another new
Chaldira or
one.
Caldera?
I don't know. It has a CH.
Okay.
I think it's Chaldira. Another thing they needed in this book is some pronunciation guides for those of us who are
Yeah.
not
Pronunciation
good
guide would
at
have been nice.
whatever phonics this is.
I know that they do that because it's like however you want to pronounce it.
Yeah, I
but I'm
know,
like,
but
sometimes I
like
just want to
some of us wanna
know.
You know,
Like,
But
just tell me.
the calamitous turn is a very cool epithet.
it
yeah.
is. I will say
Yeah,
the
it is.
art looks like a freaking possessed.
I just
like
love it.
gave me Chucky vibes,
It's a
honestly.
little Chucky. It's a little
And there's a
Chucky.
little gap
Little
tooth in
Chucky,
it.
but
Like it's
it's
super
great.
Chucky vibes.
I just love her coat. I want her coat.
Her coat is very fun.
The coat is very nice.
She is very fun. I like that she's like, you have to retort to insults. You can't abandon your friends in need. Like,
Yeah.
it's very good.
I like that one of her anathemas is attribute a lucky turn of events to your own skill. So
Yeah.
you have to literally tell people, nah,
was
I just got lucky. That wasn't skill.
So
Yeah.
lucky. Yeah.
But yeah, she's
great.
very fun. I wish that her holy symbol was more interesting. It's just a dagger or a short sword or whatever. I wish it
Yeah.
was something else.
Yeah.
I do appreciate her avatar ranged ability is a fistful of buttons.
I know that
It
one
is
was great.
non-lethal damage, but it's hitting you for
Oh.
66 plus 3 bludgeoning. So just
Awesome.
imagine like these buttons are just adamantine buttons being thrown at you at like 120 feet a second.
This makes me exceedingly pleased. I like it very much.
It does.
Yeah,
it does
it's
please
just
me
it's
very
just
much.
crazy chaos, like just halfling weirdness.
Goodness. Then we get to the
What makes it fun.
creepiest guy in this book, probably.
Oh, I hate this one.
Glonder.
I'd never
Bug
heard
boy.
of this one.
I had never heard of this one
Um,
either.
He's absolutely disgusting, and he must be out and about on Earth right now.
The
Because
Gossamer King.
area of concerns:
Yeah.
infection, insects, parasites, and stagnation.
He's gross. And his little symbol's a mosquito, because of course
He
it
is a weird, like multi-tentacled
Wow.
mosquito looking thing. Like it's awful. It's just awful.
I don't like him
an
at all.
ood face on a mosquito. It's awful.
It's very terrible, and it should feel bad, and we're going to move on because I don't
And
want
we're
to
gonna move on to Grandmother Spider,
She's
yes,
rad.
immediately.
who's actually pretty rad.
Super cool.
She gives me vibes of like the guy from Spirited Away in the boiler, like the boiler room guy. With all the
Oh
arms.
yeah, the little
Yeah.
spider guy. Yeah,
Also, she has a cute little spider friend on her shoulder.
it's super cute.
And I like
think
that
spiders
she's
are
just
cute.
like, F off, gods. Like, I'm just gonna like
Yeah.
F with
I'm gonna
you
just
because
do my
you keep using
thing.
me. I do what I
Like, I
want.
totally get why she does what she does.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like
Yeah.
she was kind of taken advantage of, and so she's like getting her petty little revenges, and I kind of like
Yeah.
it.
Well, you can tell that she kind of is based off of like the
know.
spider in a lot of like various African mythologies and folk tales.
Yeah.
Like the
Mhm.
spider's always up to something, typically, you know, causing mischief and disruption. So I think it's really neat. But yeah, cute little spider friend.
Yep.
She herself doesn't look like a spider though, and that is why she is
Oh.
okay.
She gives me another dating myself reference in the 90s Amazing Spider-Man television show. They do a whole arc about Peter getting extra arms because his mutation gets
Oh.
messed up.
Mm.
Huh.
And he ends up with 6 arms and 2 legs because he's going more spider. And it made me, I saw that and I was like, Spider-Man, wow.
I do have to say I really like the idea of like you're like a cleric of Grandmother Spider. You're really into weaving. There's a lot of like secret codes and woven things. And,
Oh my
like,
gosh, that
That'd be
makes me
kinda
think of
cool.
the movie Wanted.
Yeah, like
where they're
Wanted.
like they're
Oh,
doing
yeah.
the like
That was so
you
bad,
know.
but so good.
Yeah.
It was
really
such a
liked it.
weird like thing to do, like, oh, we get our hits from what comes out of the magic loom.
Yeah.
It's very good. Yeah, her edict, one of her edicts is essentially like, be clever.
Think for
Humiliate
yourself.
the powerful. I'm in.
I do like that one.
Eat
That's
the
a good one.
rich. Like, yes, that's good. Grandmother Spider. And then we got Grotus.
Who is the moon from Majora's Mask.
Of course, yes. very much.
110%, yeah. That's
He
all
also
he is.
he reminds me of the like evil entity from Fifth Element. Because he's basically like this giant ball of evil. You never really know what he is.
But he's not evil.
He's
neutral.
neutral. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's like gonna bring about the end of the world.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I get from
But
it. I don't know.
sometimes things end. I like that he just like hangs out in the boneyard, like sup,
Like-
looking at things,
Yeah.
doing
It'll
whatever.
happen
Waiting for my
eventually.
time.
There's no point.
Yeah, like he's just there being a moon, like living his
Yeah.
best moon life.
Yep.
I
That's
have
all I
weird
got.
feelings toward them, but I because of Tyrant's Grasp, he's always going to be like a friendly moon that's just in the sky that I say hi to when I think about him.
Grotus is another millennial deity that's just like, oh,
Yeah.
everything's awful. Like, this
The
should
end of
just
the world is
end,
fine,
man.
whatever.
It's fine.
That's true. I mean, okay, let's look at his edicts are preach of the upcoming end times. Destroy
Yeah.
that which has outlived its usefulness. So it's not destroy everything.
Yeah.
Put the suffering out of their misery. So if you were
I
a cleric
do
of
like
Grotus and you ran around with a cleric of Zonkathon,
Oh.
that would be really weird. That'd
That
be a
would
lot
be
of
really
suffer,
weird.
suffer,
Fights.
die.
Yeah,
Anyway.
there'd be some fights.
This is, by the way, another one. It says anathema artificially extends something's existence or lifespan,
Yeah, you can't heal.
Oh.
so you can't heal people.
It's
so
divine font
another
is
one that's hard to
harm.
play. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you
Oh,
can't
that's true.
spread
Your divine
hope.
font is harm.
No
Yeah.
spreading hope for you.
No hope.
Yep.
No hope.
No
I
goodness.
know.
You just got to be a Debbie Downer all the time.
He's a grumpy uncle in the sky. It's fine.
It's
Yep.
yeah. He's Lewis Black.
He's Lewis Black in the sky.
Did we cast him as Lewis Black?
No, we didn't. Let's see. Grotus
feel like we should
was.
I feel like I've said Christopher Walken. I don't know what got picked.
That's cool.
Oh, who knows?
You should add
Grotus.
more cowbell. I can't
Actually,
do
I
a Christopher
don't
Walken.
think we've cast him yet.
Yeah, we did. I remember it.
No, come on.
No, we haven't yet.
Feels wrong. That's
That feels
sus.
very
Because
wrong.
we've done Gozra Gorum,
Hmm.
but we haven't gotten to him on. We've done Gruhasta, but we have
That's who's
not done
next.
Grotus yet.
Oh,
Hey, Gruhasta
okay.
is next. He is a cute boy with wings and a very cool
Yep.
halo.
I love his
Yep.
symbol. It's like a mandala too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so he is the keeper. His areas of concern are enlightenment and the Vudrani Holy Book, which is very
Hey,
specific.
Vudrani. I love anything Vudrani.
Yep.
True.
Madrani is super cool.
Yeah, he's very cool. He's like the nephew of Rory, I think is his deal or something.
I think so. It's something like that, or related somehow.
Yeah.
Once mortal nephew of Aurori. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it. That's
nephew.
it.
So,
So he's neat. I like him. He's very he feels very Buddhist. He feels very
yeah.
compassion for all beings, trying to attain enlightenment through knowledge and wisdom and empathy. Very
Yeah.
good. Very cool.
Yeah, I appreciate his anathema is deny a sincere student education.
Yeah.
So as long as somebody comes to you saying, I want to learn something, you have to teach them.
Yeah.
Which is just great. That's just a great
Mhm.
idea. We should all do that.
He's
I
good.
like that.
I like him.
I like him a lot.
All right, carrying on to maybe one of my favorite deities in this entire book.
Yes, I didn't know about this
Fang.
one.
Hey Fang, Duke of Thunder.
Duke of Thunder. I mean,
Duke of
honestly,
Thunder.
that's just a great.
He's
Also,
hanging out
only
with
Tengu
Besmara.
deity.
You know he's hanging out with Besmara.
Oh, yeah,
and
they buds.
and Caden, and they're just getting drunk and sailing the seas and stuff. It's very cool.
I just love this quote. More often than not, as drunk and foul-mouthed as the sailors who pray to him.
Yes, he is very fun. This is the kind of chaos I'm into. Okay,
yeah.
he's chaotic neutral. He's just a little bit of chaos. His anathemas are hysterical. So anathema.
Yeah.
You can't fake friendship with those you despise. You can't disrespect him or his estranged wife.
We're
Don't talk
estranged, but
about
she's
my
still my wife.
We're not together. And you can't ignore an affront to yourself or to Haefeng. But the whole, like, I know we're not together right now, but don't talk about my wife. That's real
I still
funny.
love her.
It's real good.
Yeah, his art is great too.
He is very cool.
Yes.
And his symbol's neat. It's a storm cloud. That's rad.
Yeah.
Anything else about him? He's very fun.
No, we just
I
love
like him a lot.
That's good. Yeah.
And then also, all these minor deities are so cool.
Yeah.
Kazutal.
Yes.
Oh, I
Mother
love
Jaguar.
Kazutal.
Mother
Cassie Gina
Jaguar.
Torres.
Rad.
Super
Yes.
cool.
She's like a cooler Caden Kaleen, because like Caden's like
Kinda,
a
yeah.
fun, carefree liberty kind of a guy, and she's more of like a I will end you kind of liberty lady.
Well, and her
Fight
areas
your
of
oppressor.
concerns are safety, liberty, and community.
yeah.
So she's much more almost like a mix of Erastil meets
Yeah.
Caden
yeah.
in terms of like domain overlap.
Well, it's
I
interesting
like-
to
yeah.
have safety and liberty together because those things often conflict. Because
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
to give up some liberties to have safety, like the social contract, like it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's
Yep,
awesome.
she's just.
She has a
just
jaguar who just hangs out.
I appreciate
know.
her ranged attack is her in her if you cast Avatar with her is she throws the jaguar. It
Yes.
literally says Jaguar pounce.
I'm
awesome.
in. This sounds great.
Yep.
She's rad.
And that's the jaguar that's around her neck, by the way. Just slinging it at people.
That's because she's a boss. She can just have a jaguar
She's a
around her
boss.
neck.
And the Jaguar is all
super
down
rad.
for it too.
And her
Like,
symbol
yes,
is
throw
very
me at
cool.
them.
She's got a cool holy symbol.
She does.
And her mace thingy is very neat also.
And her favorite
It looks
weapon
like
is
it's
the
made of
machete.
jade.
Yeah. I love her.
Very tight.
She's very
Gotta
good.
get through them jungles.
Yep.
It's true. Okay, moving on. Curgis, the strong man.
I totally read this wrong, and I thought it said the Kurgan when I first read it, and I was like, "Ooh, Highlander!" And then I was like, "Oh, that's not right. This is Andre the Giant."
No, it's Curgis, the strong man.
Which is why
I
he's
put
Andre.
He
the rock
looks-
forward for this, but I lost.
He looks
His
like Mr.
face
Clean.
is weird.
He got kind of a weird face in this art, not gonna lie.
He is a strong boy.
Yeah.
He's all about competing and playing games and stuff, which is fun.
But being fair,
yeah,
like
be fair.
it's
Oh
like
yeah.
the competition, but it's like don't cheat, don't be bad. Like go by your own, abilities. And I
If
like
we
that.
were playing like a modern day version of like Golarion, like with high schools and stuff, he would be like the gym teacher.
Oh totally, yeah.
I could see that.
Yep.
I could see that.
He wears like sweatpants and like a whistle.
I just want an adventure path that's basically like kind of like Ruby Phoenix tournament, but it's just
like the
the equivalent of
Olympics.
Titan games.
Oh, that'd be fun.
The equivalent of
That'd
Titan
be like a
games. You've got
module.
Curgis just cheered you on, like, let's go, buddy. Realize your potential. Compete with your full potential. Oh, that's okay, buddy. We'll get them next time.
Okay,
Then
so
the next person comes up. Let's go, buddy.
the chat has some great things to say. We've got Wolf Mafia here saying the Great Himbo is what he should have been called. Because he is a
Great
himbo.
himbo.
That's very good.
Gracious.
Kick the Table says, can you smell what the strong man is cooking?
No, he is Andre the Giant.
Apparently,
He
he's
did not
Andre
get
the
cast
Giant.
as Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
He's the
no.
Rock.
You guys had your
He's
chance and you
not.
chose wrong.
Whatever.
No,
My head
we left it up to the Pathfolk, and the Pathfolk chose Andre the Giant because Andre the Giant is amazing.
That's
He's
just because
the
they don't like to pick
Rock.
things for me.
I said the Rock too, I think. All right.
Andre
Then
the
we've got Milani. I'm disappointed she's not a halfling.
She's very
Other thing I'm
frowny.
disappointed with her art is
Yeah, she's
she is the
frowny.
deity of hope, and she's frowning, and I don't like how are you the deity of hope and you don't have a smile on your face? Like having a
Well-
smile makes other people feel like more hopeful and relaxed. I guess I don't know.
I don't know if I'm gonna agree with you on that because that's like telling Captain Marvel that she needs to be smiling. I was like, Captain America
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
smile, and he's
true.
a symbol
That's
of
true.
hope.
That's true.
Like,
I feel
I
like he
don't know.
does smile a lot, though.
well, not in the like posters and stuff where he's trying
Oh,
to look
yeah.
all awesome,
Being
and
all
I feel like
macho
that's
man.
what is going on here. Like, yeah,
Maybe.
she's frowny, but I just okay. I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't really give a crap about the frown. I had a problem with the boob window.
Oh, yeah. That's like, stab me here, please.
Oh,
Like,
if
I
you
just
want to
hated
get
it
mad at
so
that, that's
much.
kind of there's that's still the art. There's still art.
I
like
know.
that
I
throughout this
just
book.
I just
Okay,
hated it.
Let
so
me
much.
continue to rag on this illustration. I hate her holy symbol. I like I like the rose with the blood drop thing, but why is it stuck into stones? That is not like. Think about like I'm gonna tattoo
I
my
think
holy symbol on myself. That's a horrible thing to try to tattoo. It's not a
It'd be a hard thing
symbol.
to do. I think I get it. Like it's supposed to be like it can grow out of anything.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
But
it's the
I didn't
it
realize
can
it
grow
was
in any
stones,
condition,
so-
you know.
it should be more maybe put a big rock and like a flower, like maybe do something more stylized.
like
all
a
I'm saying.
cracked rock or something, and like the rose
Yeah,
going up through it. That could have been
something-
better.
I don't know. I think it's weird. Also, she should be a halfling because I only ever think of the Bellflower Network, and she should be a halfling. So,
Yeah.
And why does she have wings? That's weird.
I thought, wasn't she like an angel?
I feel like I've never
I don't
looked
know.
at
Or
her
something?
art before.
I could have sworn she's like an angel that begot her own deity hood.
She has
Something,
butt
something,
wings
something.
too.
She has butt wings. What?
Sorry, someone in the
Yeah,
chat
so her
says she
wings
has
are not
butt
coming
wings.
out of the traditional place, which is out of your scapula and your back. They seem to be coming out lower, and that is weird. I don't understand
Middle of
that
her
really.
spine for some
Weird.
reason.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
This art's weird.
I don't
That's
know.
what we have to say about that.
But I love Milani as a goddess.
Yes, as a
just-
goddess.
Oh
she's
yeah,
very good.
totally.
Fighting the good fight and whatnot. Big fan.
All right. Now we're coming to my new favorite.
Yes, of course.
Ah, yes.
Rumbedazzle.
Livy Rumbedazzle.
I had not heard of her before.
She
And I
fun.
came across this and I was like, yes, I have to play a character that follows Nibby Rumbedazzle. Rumbedazzle.
Rumbedazzle.
Because this is just amazing. This is the greatest name. Of course, it's a gnome. And how befitting for a gnome to win divinity because of a gamble.
I
And
love
even
her.
better that it was against a freaking Taurag.
I love it. I'm a
Her holy
big
symbol's a
fan.
D6. That's pretty rad.
Her holy symbol is a great symbol. You could easily tattoo that on your body. That's how I judge holy symbols. You could etch that into something and it would look neat. Also, I just
Somebody
like
in the chat, kick the table in the chat, said she's the god of Rollum,
Yeah.
or
know-
just RN Jesus of Pathfinder.
Rollum has been punishing every table I've played in this whole week. We've all been rolling really bad, and somebody finally said, like, I think Nivy Rumbedazzle's mad at us, and then our luck changed a little bit, so I don't know. Maybe.
I don't
She's
know.
awesome,
I just-
and I love her.
She's my new favorite, and I'm making a character that follows her.
I think we should just all play scoundrels that follow her.
Oh, that'd be
We're just a
fun.
bunch of We're essentially going to play out the plot to that card counting movie.
Wait,
21?
you mean the one where they're from MIT or whatever,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah,
doing
yeah.
the card
Yeah,
counting? Yeah, yeah.
Even though technically the main character in that was supposed to be Asian.
Yeah. I mean, sure.
Well,
Well,
you know,
we're
Hollywood.
going to be gnomes,
Yeah.
so
That's
we'll make
true.
a better version.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we've got Nocticula, who is so fun.
I love her so much. My hair color is actually kind of the same color as
It is
theirs
kind
right
of
now,
a
so-
Nocticula purple,
It's
yes.
true.
Yeah, it is Nocticula purple.
You could totally
That's what I'm gonna call
cosplay
it.
her, you know.
I like her little
Gosh.
winkies. Uh-oh, I left my door open
Yep.
and now I have a small kitty.
That's okay.
Uh-oh.
Say hello, small kitty.
It's
Hi.
Adora.
She's not super
Anyway,
happy
her
to be
art
here.
just makes me happy. I like that she's allied with Queen Sortion, and that she's
That
just
makes
kind of like
sense.
the goddess of misfit toys.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's
because she's the goddess of
lovely.
like exiles. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's true. And I like that she is essentially like an ascended, bad thing. Because
Demon,
I think
yeah.
it's interesting that those are not permanent things, right? Like it's so black
Yeah.
and white to be like, you're a demon, you're evil forever. Not true. You can
She's like,
ascend,
screw that.
which means you can go the other way too. Mm.
Yes. I
So,
do
who's
appreciate
that?
her edict of being number one, create art true to yourself.
Yep.
So she's like huge into art and art creation, which is interesting for a chaotic neutral deity to be
It's
into
also
that kind of stuff.
anathema to finish a work of art during daylight hours.
That's
That's
kind of a
weird.
weird one.
Yeah, it's
Kind of
weird.
weird. I do also appreciate her when casting the Avatar spell, you get a ranged attack that is literally a magnanimous
I
smile,
love it.
non-lethal, range 120 feet visual. That's 66 plus 3 of mental damage as you just kill him with kindness.
She just
Yep.
disarms you with her smile.
Nocticula.
Disarming smile.
She is very fun.
Give him a little wink, you know.
And she has a little baby cloven foot, peeking out of her.
Oh well, yeah. I
I
mean,
know,
she's
they're
I think
so
she was
cute.
originally like a succubus or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So
I love her.
Yeah.
She's very fun.
Yep.
Okay, and then
Red.
we've got Savannah, who's very interesting and cool.
Yeah. I hadn't heard of her, and I kind of enjoy that there's like this less of an evil association with illusions when it comes to her.
yeah,
Yeah.
So it's
And the bladed
and I
scarf.
just enjoy that.
Yes.
Yeah.
as a favored weapon. Yeah.
Very cool. Also, I enjoy that she has like a beef with Zonkathon about Shadow. Like, Shadow's not evil. How dare you? Like, I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of that.
Yeah.
She is
I like
neat.
that too.
Her edicts and anathema are kind of conflicting though, because it's like her anathema is it's anathema to use illusions and shadows to harm another creature, but she's also like the goddess of illusion, which often
Yeah.
is used to hurt another creature.
I think that just means like you can't use like phantasmal killer,
That makes sense.
right? Because like that would be using an illusion to harm another creature, or shadow evocation, shadow conjuration, like stuff like that. So like you can show the beauty in illusions by being like hallucinatory terrain. Look at how like nice and beautiful I can make this area look. You know,
Here's a problem with that. Her avatar ranged spell thing is illusory assault.
that's what doesn't make sense.
It's a
Yeah,
problem.
so she's a bit
Yeah,
of a
it's weird.
paradox.
Somebody's didn't think that through.
Maybe
Yeah.
calling out Paizo here.
Calling you out,
Yeah.
Paizo. My eyes get real big. Okay. Moving on. We're almost to the end here, and then we'll dive into. Oh no, we're not. We're not.
We're gonna
even
be here
close.
forever.
We're still in the second chapter, y'all. All right. Shizuru, the Empress of Heaven. Cool that it's a lady sun deity. Sarenrae also a lady sun
Nice.
deity.
Yep.
It's basically the samurai.
Samurai lady.
I got a very Ghost of Tsushima vibe.
I mean,
from
favorite
her.
weapon katana. Like
Yep.
yeah, very much.
But then contrasted with Tsukio, which is a male god of the moon, which is interesting because usually
Yeah, it's kind of the
female.
inverse of what you normally see in
Yeah.
like real world mythologies. So that
Very
was cool.
neat.
Yeah.
Both of
Tsukio
these
kind of
have-
gives me an Osiris feel.
Yeah, both of these have very good holy symbols that you could tattoo on your body.
I really like Tsukio's.
It's so cool.
Just
The
'cause I
faces
love
of the
the-
moon.
Because it's like the
Moons,
phases
yeah.
of the moon within like a crescent moon. Yeah, it's really
I-
nifty.
Really enjoyed Tsukio because it's the only god that I've ever seen that mentions mental illness.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
I like that very much.
I liked that. And then it was like this whole thing of they offer assistance and teach communities to respect and celebrate these individuals. And Tsukian priests never attempt to treat these individuals unless they desire such assistance.
Yep.
And I like that.
It says one of his anathema is to force aid on those who do not want it.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yep.
All right, moving on along. Okay, those are all the minor deities.
I know we're like almost an hour and a half in here, but we're getting there.
So let's pull a question this is from Ben on the Discord. What is your favorite minor deity? Or from Mirror, same question, best minor deity and why is it Nocticula?
Because she's goals.
I don't know if she's my favorite one though.
She's my favorite one.
Even better than Nivi Rombodazzle?
It's for different reasons.
But you gotta have one favorite.
I am Rachel and I have two.
Rude. I find this very rude. I'm gonna go. Fine. I'm gonna have two too. I'm gonna have Mother Jaguar, and I'm also gonna have Besmara because pirates, and also sea monsters.
All right, Jordan.
Fine, then if you guys get two, I get two.
There's two questions.
I-
Establishing.
I am a software engineer and lover of all things technology, so I will take Cassandra and Bry. Birds of Triune, baby.
Very nice.
Very good. Very good. All right, moving on to demigods and other divinities.
Okay.
This is shorter, so
Yeah, I had a beef with this section, and it's just me being weird, nitpicky. I don't like that the archdevils are not in order by the layer of hell that they're in.
yeah, that'd be great.
It
It's
bothers
in
me.
alphabetical order instead. Yeah.
I know, and I don't like that. I'm like, you could have changed it up for this one section.
Tell me their
Whatever.
realms and then who lives in them.
Yeah, I think that would have been
Yeah.
better.
I think
think
that's
the
in, somewhere else probably.
yeah, I think overall this section, because everybody gets a paragraph of each of these separate sections. This is really just a teaser for another book. Because
Yeah,
I
I
think so.
would love to see full books of each of these, demigods and everything. But it's it's one of those things. It's just enough to kind of whet the appetite.
It's
Yeah,
also kind of weird to look at like the archdevils versus demon lords because Paizo pulls from mythology a lot, but like Baphomet or Baphomet is a demon lord when in our world he's a devil. So there's like some weirdness. Like
Yeah.
if Mephistopheles is a devil, Baphomet should be a devil.
But aren't devils
Yeah.
and demons interchangeable in
In our world, yeah.
In
but
our world,
separating
yeah.
them messes with my brain.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. And then I just see Moloch and I think Buffy.
I
so.
see Memon and I think Constantine and I think like
think
the son of
Yeah,
Lucifer.
yeah. You think of the
Yeah.
pop culture references to those.
I
yeah.
very much remember them from pop culture. Diablo, like I know a lot of
Yeah.
them
Also,
from
I'm a
that.
little offended that they
Belial.
made Mammon kind of cute. Like,
What?
if you look at
I'm
the
not gonna
artwork,
lie.
it's just kind of like, yay, look at me.
Yes, I
I'm
love
frolicking
it.
through the
I love his
the
face.
He is frolicking.
So
he is
He is having too
flourishing.
much
Like,
fun in
yes.
hell.
You know what? If you're a devil baby, you gotta have fun.
That's right.
Too much
I love
fun
it.
being had here.
Nope, I love it.
I like the Queens of the Night are interesting. I don't know. There's something about it that's like they're cool, but they're all they're bad guys.
I will say the demon lords. I've decided that Tree Razor is just Hexus.
Tree Razor is interesting. 'cause
Pretty
he's a
much,
tree.
yeah.
And okay, this is just a weird thing for me when it comes to fantasy stuff in general. This is not just Paizo. Why do all bad people have to have a Z
Or an X. Those
It's a
are
Like I
weird
feel
thing,
like
right?
we need to take back Z's and
It's
X's.
true.
Yeah, it's for all
And
those
Vs.
people who are named Zach and Xavier, You're not
Yes.
evil.
Yeah.
You're just misunderstood.
It's a
Yes.
cool sounding letter, but it always gets like pushed off to this. And like, I just want to write a story one day where all the good characters have like these evil sounding names, and then like all the bad people have
Well,
like Tiffany.
All of the evil characters are cool, and all cool things are evil.
That is not true.
That's the metal view of things,
I don't know,
isn't it?
man. Here's where I'm at. So then we get to the eldest, which I like a lot better because the first world is a very neat. And if you read the little introduction section on the eldest, I really liked that it talked about how all of the major deities abandoned the first world because that was like their test run world. And so the eldest are actually just very powerful things that were from the first world that stepped into the role of deities.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of neat. There's something nice there. I wish we hung out in the first world more.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
We all played Fae, we ran around the first
That'd be
world.
neat.
Be neat.
Hey,
That'd be
Adventure
neat.
Path. Cue it up, Paizo.
I'm ready. Let's do it. Bing.
I'm sure they have a lot.
Oh, no, I'm sure they have plenty that without us throwing weird ideas at them every single time we review a product.
True. Also, the eldest have a lot of variety, and like some of them are more mysterious, and some of them are sad, and some of them are like I feel like with devils and stuff, those are all bad guys. But with the eldest, there's like a range of things.
They're all over
Yeah,
the place because
there's-
some of them are more chaotic tricksters. Some of them are more like, just like, I'm just miserable to be here,
Ragaddon looks rad, though.
Yeah, Ragaddon looks really
Oh,
rad.
yeah.
My
Looks
kitty
like
has returned.
Volvagia from Ocarina of Time.
I was thinking like there's a big serpent thingy in Final Fantasy 14 that kind of looks like that.
I have not played this.
I don't
Then
know.
we get to the Elemental Lords, which I don't think makes sense because if they're Elemental Lords, they should either be very neutral or they should be a full duality the way Gozro works.
Yeah,
why are there evil
I
ones
do
and why
think
are there
that.
good ones? And the evil one, they're all, well, the excuse that they give, that's a mean way to put it. The logic behind it, as far as Paizo is concerned, is that where is it? Something about like mortals are using the natural world. There it is. As mortality evolved, it began harnessing the elements for malevolent purposes, causing anguished dissent between the benevolent elemental lords and emboldening their evil counterparts. But like, why? Why are they evil? Like, just because you're a hurricane guy doesn't mean you're evil. It just means you're doing what you do.
Well, it's
Yeah,
that whole
it
thing where it's
seems
like
strange.
elementals can't be anything but true neutral because they are forces of nature.
Yeah,
at
but
their
these
very
are not
core,
technically elementals so much as like powerful primal chaos beings. But primal chaos beings should be neutral because chaos should, if at its primal state, should be neutral, I think.
Yeah, I think there's also
I don't
there
know.
was kind of a missed opportunity with these to go into the whole metaphysical like what even is good and evil, because what's evil on this plane of existence can be completely different from what's evil on this plane of existence, just given they have the whole like deities kind of moderating that, but it's, it'd be interesting to see them kind of take this to a more, well, it's perfectly normal to throw people off of bridges in the plane of air because everybody can fly. And so they wouldn't think it, they might think it a little weird when you plummet like a stone,
Well, Rick says in the chat that it is probably a holdover from AD&D's Temple of Elemental Evil. But even then, why would you do that in AD&D? Elements should be neutral. These are my thoughts.
I don't know.
Could be wrong.
Thank you for coming to our TED Talk.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Zonkathon shouldn't have a bat, and elements should be neutral.
Imperial Lords, Jessica. What do you got?
They're good guys.
I
Pretty much.
like
Black Butterfly is cool.
Yeah, I was going to say Black
Butterfly.
Butterfly is probably my favorite one in this, just because they basically kind of make it out like it's Peter Pan's shadow.
The silence
Yeah,
between.
it's kind of cool.
That it's like, it's sometimes believed to be an aspect of Desna that is broken off and taken on its own life. So it's kind of like it feels very Peter Pan's shadow, which I thought was kind of cool.
Well, she's cool because, okay, I'm going to read this. She hates all evil, but she truly despises the powerful beings of evil that populate the Dark Tapestry, and her followers are expected to fight these beings and their followers without mercy. So she's actually like, elder gods, F off, and like she's like getting them.
I like that.
I'm a fan. And
She
she
is
didn't
the
get
Black
corrupted by
Butterfly.
looking
Sounds
at
like
whatever
superhero.
it was. Sounds like Zonkathon needed to make his will save. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I'm so spicy. It's just a thing, I guess. But yeah, she's cool. She's also a deity in Starfinder, which is cool.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah,
highlight
there
from
were-
Imperial Lords. But there are a lot of
There are
them
a
that
lot
are
of
neat.
good ones. Again, I think I agree with Jordan where I felt like a lot of this, because there was only one paragraph on everything, that it felt like a teaser.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we're gonna get more on this later.
Well, yeah. and
I
they
need
didn't get
the
art.
continuation of this book where they just define all of the demigods and
Well,
so
yeah.
on.
They do put, there is like essentially an appendix that has all of these folks in it, and like these huge tables with like their edicts and their anathema and their domains and all that stuff if you wanted to use them, be a follower of them. But
Yeah, but I want more flavor.
there's no
me
art
lore.
of all of them, and like, I don't know.
I want their aphorisms. What's the aphorism of
How dare you be
No,
a teaser?
Ragathiel.
Give us everything. 700
How dare.
Books
I'll buy a 500-page book.
Bookses.
I don't care.
But yeah, I mean, Pelura is cool. There's like a lot of really cool deities up in the Imperial one,
Imperial
although they're all
Lords,
good
yeah.
deities, so they balance out the devil guys.
Yeah.
Followed by the horsemen.
Again, weird. There's four of them.
Yeah, I mean, they're
Yeah.
the four horsemen.
They're what you expect.
I will say though, I feel like, is it Zuriel? Cereal?
Cereal?
Caesariel.
Looks like they're trying to go for like the crow makeup.
Oh my god. I was thinking like Insane Clown Posse. Again, like they look like a hair metal band with some wings on the back.
I was gonna say
dress.
it's the contrast of the white makeup and the blonde hair that I
yeah,
think gives me this
there's
like
something there that's not working.
metal
'cause
band
everything
kind of
else
feel.
is cool.
Yeah.
Like I love the
Yeah.
wings, I love the sword, but there's something about the face that I'm just like, this looks weird.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest. The art,
Yeah.
some of the art in this is a little not great, which is odd.
We're being nitpicky, to be
We're
fair.
being very nitpicky.
We're being very nitpicky.
Stop putting people in face paint in these books. Clown makeup
Where
is
I
bad. Everything else is great. Oh, and then we
Okay,
get some
let's-
monitor demigods and Barzak's here. That's cool.
Oh, is he?
Oh
Yeah,
goodness.
he's like the first one, Barzak.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he is. It's because I used to spell it differently.
Fair.
Barzak the Passage.
I love him. He's my
Yeah.
fave.
He's pretty cool.
Also, see Tyrant's Grasp for why
see,
we're excited about
true.
seeing Barzak.
the Mother Vulture
She
art
creeps.
is it makes me
Very,
think of
very
The Witcher
wrong.
3.
Mm.
When you had one of the was it the beehive one? I don't remember, but one of the
One of
Witches or
the
whatever.
witches. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
and everything. It kind of gives me that vibe, and I'm like, yeah, that's sufficiently creepy.
Well, I really
I-
like them because they're all neutral, like true neutral, which is cool.
Yeah, I appreciate monad, which one that's a term
Mm.
used in programming that we all joke nobody understands what monads are in programming. So there's that. But I love that it's just like it's it is just like a force of nature, and it's just like it exists both within and outside the multiverse and has influence over the entirety of existence, though generally content to allow the multiverse to run its course. It directs its aeons to intervene when events deviate from their ineffable design. Where it's just like, I have an idea for where things are going, and then I'm just going to kind of course correct you a little bit. That's
so
my
it's
entire
like the
interest.
weird floaty things from the new Final Fantasy 7.
I haven't played the new Final Fantasy 7, so I don't know.
Okay.
I
Never mind
like I like Yadajisk. Yadajisk? There's a Y and then a D.
Yadajiks. Your
Dajisk.
Yadajiks?
It's probably
Disc?
silent, so it's probably Dajisk.
Dajisk. I like them because they are the Protean Lord of language evolution, lost words, and slang. That's
You would
cool.
as an English teacher like
Yeah. I need to play like a writer, like a bard who follows this guy and is all about like preserving like languages on the verge of being lost.
That'd be kind of cool.
It's kind of fun.
I think that'd be really cool.
And then we've got, Heather, the Outer Gods and Great Old Ones.
this.
Have you seen the yellow sign? No.
The answer
No, I
is
haven't.
no, even if you've seen it. You just say no. What?
Yep.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Yeah, so these guys are, of course, your cosmic horror buddies. My cat's I gotta throw a thing at him.
Goodness.
Sorry, he was scratching a box. Okay. So we have a question, which is when and where will Haster strike next?
I don't know if you've been experiencing the same 2020 as the rest of us,
think
but
now.
I'm pretty sure he's already
Now.
here.
Basically.
He's
Yeah.
I mean, Zamindor is among us. Like,
I think
clearly.
Haster's definitely.
Haster.
Haster. Now he's here. We can ask him.
Well, then
Goodness.
Beetlejuice. Let's just put them both out there.
That's true. It'll be a
Goodness.
weird day. It's already pretty crazy, I guess. I think Zamindor's interesting because just knowing his name means he's around, like he's alive.
The living cancer.
Very cool.
Zamindor? No, Zamindor's the Amos blot.
No, it says the living cancer.
Oh, is he also the living cancer?
He
Oh,
is
he's
the
the
living
living
The
cancer.
living
Yes.
cancer was
No, you're
born
right.
in the sewers beneath Carcosa, the alien city that is the home of Haster.
Mm-hmm. He's a bad guy.
Goodness.
He's a bad
evil
guy.
incarnate.
That's what I've got to say.
Yeah,
He's
he
a bad guy. And then we get to a section that's very strange called Philosophies and Spirituality,
Which starts
Yeah.
with pantheons. Which
which
is,
starts with pantheons.
I guess, spirituality?
And we have a question
guess-
actually about pantheons from, is it Denev?
Deneb.
Or and it says, what do you think about pantheons? I found them strange that they're here. Like it was very limited, and it felt like, again, a teaser, because it's like, oh, here's the dwarven, here's the elven, and the godclaw, and I'm like, that cannot be the only pantheons in the whole of Golarion. Like, I just don't think this was necessary.
Like, go big or
Yeah.
go home. Give me
Yeah,
like
like,
all
I
of them
feel
or
like-
none of them.
Pantheons could have their own book, if you ask me. It's
Yeah.
just very weird to me.
Mm.
Or at least they need a chart that has more, because you're either dwarven, elven, or the godclaw.
Yeah.
What
that's
about
not
gnome
enough?
or halfling or I don't know, Osirian?
Yeah, well,
or-
and each of these gets a paragraph to define the
True.
entire pantheon, which is not sufficient.
well,
like
they at least get like
Yeah.
areas of concern, alignments, the divine. Like they get the things you would need to actually.
they
play
get a full
someone.
stat block as if they're a deity, but I feel like it.
Yeah.
Like one of the things I really liked that Rick did was when he was playing Grimm in Tales from Darkwind Vale. Go watch Tales from Darkwind Vale if you haven't seen that. Is that he was able to specifically call upon specific deities in different times and different contexts, which I think is really the cool thing about being, is worshiping
About
a
following
pantheistic way.
Pantheon.
Is being able to call out different deities for kind of different needs that you have. It's very much a kind of like a calling on different saints in Catholicism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want more information because I want to know, like, okay, this is what this specific god is about, and this one has interest in this. So I want more.
I think that pantheons should be based more on culture, not ancestry.
Yeah.
I'd also
Like,
believe
I think
that
there
too.
can be both,
Or
but
both,
I
yeah.
feel like there should be not just ancestry, because
Yes.
sometimes you get these melting pots, so it becomes its own pantheon. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents.
And then we get to
I
another.
mean, I could
very- oh.
see like a Vudrani pantheon or an
Sure.
Assyriani pantheon. Very similar.
Then
Yeah,
we get to
but-
a very weird inclusion, the Esoteric Order of the Palatine Eye. Is
Yeah,
that
I'm
a
gonna- I'm gonna-
philosophy
I'm
or
gonna-
a spirituality?
I thought it was a.
I'm gonna come out and say it. What is this doing in here?
I
This
just
is
I-
like a
felt really
secret
weird.
order of people who like to
Yeah.
research occult stuff. I don't think they like. I don't know. It's weird. That's weird that that's in there, and it has
Yeah,
anathema and stuff, which is weird.
I don't know. It's,
But the
it's
only
strange to
the
me.
only anathema that it has is revealing the Order's secrets, which that's every secret society, and destroying rare or ancient lore, which a lot of secret societies have same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure it's different enough to need calling out here.
It
I
should
think-
be in a different book.
I feel like they're putting it under the philosophy umbrella, but
But
again,
it's a philosophy
I-
specifically tied to a secret order, which means
I know
you can't follow the philosophy without joining that order. So
It's
it's a little
I know.
weird.
I
It's
just-
a club. Like they need to make a book of organizations and clubs, and that is where this goes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So,
So, it's
God
weird.
calling though,
God
I
calling's
do
very
like
cool.
God calling.
I want mechanics on how to do this.
I think it's
That's what I'm missing in this section.
With the summoner
Yeah,
book, they'll
'cause-
probably include that because summoners are kind of like god callers, so that would make
Yeah.
sense to me.
Yeah,
so.
and that's the one piece I'm missing from this is that I would have liked to see the mechanics of how I could build a god caller
Or like a
and
special
you know
spell
what
or
the mechanics
something.
are.
Yeah,
Like a special spell, an archetype, some dedication, something to go with it.
But it's supposed to be just the spirituality of it, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
No, it is.
So that's cool. Green Faith, rad, should be in here. People worship this instead of a deity. That makes sense.
I like it.
It
It's
is
like the
funny though
poison
because
ivy
the
one.
art for it makes me think of a snowman.
It's so cute. It's like a
'Cause
bush.
it's got
with
like
a
the little
face.
long pointy nose and
It's like a
everything.
little
Like it makes me
ant.
think of a
I love it.
snowman.
I'm a big
Little
fan.
ant bush.
Yeah. Yep.
I like it very much. Then we have the Laws of Mortality, which honestly I find kind of like, it's too close to the real world.
I get it though. Like
Yeah.
I get that as a philosophy. Like that
Sure.
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a philosophy. I just, I live in a world where there aren't gods. I don't want to pretend that there aren't in a fake world.
Yeah, I
mean,
kind of
it-
like that
to each
it's
his
more
own, it's
clear
flavor.
cut in Golarion.
I
Like,
mean,
oh yeah,
this is like
I get magic from this. I
purposefully.
know this one is here.
Well, this is saying we shouldn't worship them. They're not worth worshiping. So it acknowledges that
Well,
they're real. But I'm also
yeah.
just like,
Yeah, keep in mind this is the laws of mortality that come from Rahadum. So
Yeah,
that's kind of part of their entire culture is
And it
the
is
laws
their
of mortality.
philosophy that they do. So it makes sense to be in here. I just
Yeah.
personally,
Yeah.
Then we have the Prophecies of Calistrade.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know what this was.
I didn't.
I mean,
Would you write that
It's-
in your deity column? Maybe.
Maybe
I don't know. I mean, if you're from Druma, possibly.
Okay. Because there's
Because
it's
this
like
is
the
again, this is
secular
one that's specific to a
prophecies.
region.
Okay, I mean, I guess you could.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those like it's a kind of a capitalistic society because their edicts are accumulate personal wealth, seek enlightenment through purity of self, foster and aid mercantile pursuits. It's very kind of capitalistic driven.
It's weird. I feel
I mean,
like it's
again,
murky.
it's tied specifically to an area.
Yeah, but you can also worship a deity at the same time that you're a part of this.
I mean, yeah, it's
Which
a
is-
philosophy, so sure.
But it's weird. I don't know. I feel like
So-
it's
I think
bizarre.
the edicts
It's
and
philosophy.
anathema is weird because I think of anathema in a religious sense, not in a
Yeah.
philosophical
Well, this is
sense.
a
I
book
think that's
about
what's kinda weird
religions.
about it.
Like it's mostly religions. There's a little bit of philosophy at the end, apparently. Also, a secret organization.
The last part of this book felt kind of,
Odd.
and I mean this in the nicest of way, but a little bit thrown together. Like it felt like here's the trailer for the next thing coming.
Yeah. Or like we needed to
And-
put this somewhere. I guess this book makes sense.
Yeah, because that's kind of how I felt with the rest of these,
Yeah.
with the Sangpachi, the Shoanti, animism, and the atheist and free. Like all of this stuff, it's like I feel like we could have gone more into this in something else. I don't know if it
Yeah.
really fit with gods and magic
Well,
because especially if
animism
it's a philosophy.
does.
Animism I could
does.
see.
Animism does,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. It just felt like these maybe didn't belong in this
Yeah,
book.
saying Shi makes me think of like Taoism,
a little bit.
which
yeah.
is at least actually a philosophy.
Yeah.
So that makes sense to
Yeah.
me. I think the animism makes sense because that's like a philosophy or a spiritual belief that a group of people
Yeah.
have. That makes sense to me. Atheists being in here is funny. It's just like, and also sometimes
Yeah.
people don't.
They're just like, nah.
And that's
Well, it's
interesting.
it's one of those things that I think they call it out, but it's like there's no edicts, there's no anathema, there's no alignment restrictions. Like,
Could have been a
do what you
paragraph,
wanna
and you
do.
could have
Yeah.
given me more on something else. We're being very critical. This
Possibly.
is a very good book, but this end is very weird.
It is a very good book. It's just some of
The-
it seems a little out of place, but the information is still really cool.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I think it's that this section specifically is kind of
Strange.
iffy.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to
Yeah.
feats then.
It's a little
Character
weird.
options are good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Character
character
options.
options. Let's get to feats.
This is
Rad.
spells, items, weapons, feats. All this is in the last section of the book.
Yeah,
The last
I
chapter.
think why don't we just go through and pick our favorite feats, spells, domains, and weapons.
This works for me.
That way we're kind of moving along.
Let's start with feats.
Okay, first feat that I really liked was the syncretism. I think this is really neat because if you're in a group with like another devout follower of another, religion, and you're like, hey, that actually kind of works with what I already worship. I think you could kind of start adopting more of what
That's neat.
like their beliefs are, and I think that's really cool.
I like evangelize because it makes me think of like church kids and like speaking the good word. Like you could play like a really fun, like you're like a young kid who just grew up in the church and you're out in the world trying to convert people to Desna. And so you're like evangelizing it like everyone you meet. And it's kind of fun. I think it's kind of cute.
Cool.
Yeah,
Jordan?
I like charlatan because it always makes me think of Rasmussen.
True.
And it's you learn to mimic the ability of spellcasters by studying their flourishes and words, but you're activating a magic item. So you make a deception check to see if you can actually like fool people into knowing that think you actually know how to cast that spell. So it always makes me think of the priests of Rasmussen that always, none of them are actually spellcasters and get spells, but they, use wands and pretend to be
True.
spellcasters.
That is fun.
Yeah.
So I always think it's a fun feat. I would probably never actually take it, but it's just a fun one.
I guess moving into spells, because that's like a nice segue.
All right, so I wrote down several for this one, but my absolute favorite of the ones I wrote down was Time Beacon, which basically you create a beacon in time intending to return to it if things go wrong. So you can cast time. So basically you have to keep track of everything that happens on this turn after you cast it. And at the end of your turn, you can choose to rewind time. And I'm like, I don't necessarily have the memory for this. I'd have to like make sure I wrote everything down to actually have this be of any use.
I like it.
But I think the
very
spell itself
much.
is really cool.
That seems like the kind of spell to pull some shenanigans, and I enjoy shenanigans very much.
Yeah, I know you do.
There are lots of good spells. Like there's classics and stuff like Ill Omen and stuff, but
Feast of Ashes, things like that. Yeah.
I really like fungal hyphae. Which
Fungal hyphae is
essentially
interesting.
you just sprout roots and like a fungal network into the ground, and you get tremor sense, which is rad.
Yep.
Yeah. I really like gravity. Well, anything that messes with gravity always is a real like disconcerting kind of spell. So a third level spell that basically lets you create a ball of gravity that everybody's moved towards the center of. It just seems fun because you can put it above them and actually have them flying into the air and things like that. So,
Yep.
I just, again, I like a little gravity ball. I think that's fun.
That is pretty fun. All right, and then there's a bunch of new domains in here. So let's just do the same thing with domains.
I just really like is probably not the right word for this, but I enjoy the sorrow domain because it speaks to my little Edgar Allan Poe heart.
True.
Geez, I don't know. I really like Wormkin. I like dragons, and so anything that's dragon adjacent sounds cool.
I like the soul one because your first focus spell is eject soul. It's just like bye.
Like you do. I'm just imagining that as like the Doctor Strange thing where the ancient one like punches him and his soul just pops out the back.
You also get swarm sense, which lets you just like send a swarm to look through, which I do enjoy as well.
Is that that's a swarm domain, right?
Under the swarm domain, sorry.
That's
Yeah.
Swarm domain. I like a swarm domain, like I like a first edition druid swarm body spell, and I like the
That
continuation
spell's so
of it
creepy.
here.
Feels
just
so creepy.
I'm a bunch of ants, and I'm just gonna wander off.
I mean, your bones are left there while your flesh
Keep
goes
an eye on my
scurrying off,
bones,
man.
friends. I've got to go
Oh,
be
gosh.
ants.
It's
I'm
so
just
it's so
imagining
bad.
that, and my fear of ants is just going.
I
Yeah,
used
no,
it
it's
once
awful.
to get into a tank and
can't.
really bother people. It was very fun. Anyway,
Okay, items and weapons.
weapons are cool.
Goodness.
The bladed
I want a
scarf is here. Bladed
I know.
scarf.
How do I get a poly tool?
You buy it at the store.
You go to
I need
Numeria
it.
and you buy one.
It's 10 gold pieces.
I don't know if you can
The
get
favorite
it
weapon
outside
of
Numeria, though, can you?
It's an
Cassandra.
uncommon. You have to be from Numeria. So you take the region or whatever. Numeria.
Yeah, but I want it now.
Okay, but they're not real. Actually,
Yeah, they are Swiss
just
Army
go order
knives.
one
Swiss
on
Army
Amazon.
knives.
Yeah, I was like, they're Swiss Army knives. That's all they are.
Go order one on Amazon or wherever, and then there you go.
Oh goodness.
Okay. Jordan, do you have an item?
Oh no, it's Polytool, hands down.
You guys are silly. I like that.
Actually, I do. I do also. I've never actually used one, but I think meteor hammers are really interesting. Just the idea of like you basically just have a really long chain and two heavy weights on the end of it,
True.
and that's a weapon. You know.
It's one of those weapons I would definitely hurt myself.
Oh no,
Yeah.
100%. You definitely have like
100%.
choked yourself at least a half dozen times before you figure out how to use that.
Yeah, and then there's an appendix that has huge charts of all the domains and stuff, and that's kind of the end of the book itself.
Yeah, I was gonna say my only comment on that was I thought something was wrong with my PDF because the chart went to the edge of the page, and I was like, "What the crap?" It just looked really weird.
Yeah, that's because it's
it was
the way that they
printed.
printed it.
Yeah,
it will fold out. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I get it, but it freaked me out at first because I was like, "Why does it look like this?"
Okay, now let's just do some questions. We've got
There we go.
so many questions.
Wow. Yeah, I was gonna say thanks, guys, because we have like
Yeah, thanks for
we
the
even answered
questions.
some of the questions in the middle of going through this, and
These
there's
are
like
kind of
still
more
like 10 left.
general questions. So, all right, Mirror, Herald of Nocticula, is asking, what is our favorite deity that we hadn't really gotten to read about before?
Nivi Rumbodazzle.
I like Grandmother Spider.
I like Alceta.
Very cool.
They're very neat.
Okay.
I like all of these things. There's a question from Ark about what does arcane magic represent in Golarion? What mechanic does it operate by? That's a great question. This book
don't know
does
how to
not
answer
talk
that.
about it.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that for you.
They don't really refer to magic in a mechanical sense, like there's a science behind it,
Yeah.
because kind of magic inherently is breaking the laws of reality. So it's hard to like, apply like say physics to it.
I don't know. I
and
think that they
explain
should
it,
make
you
a
know?
book about like arcane and occult magic that's more about like what wizards and stuff get their magic from. Studying,
Yeah.
but what does that mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's practiced incantations and
Yeah, but
stuff,
where does
I guess,
the
right?
magic come from? So I think there could be a book in there. Somebody could make a book in there.
Oh, does the magic come from you or from around you, or
yeah. Are you like
it's that
tapping
whole
into
question.
the natural force of the universe? Like, how
Yeah.
are you? Like, there's a thing there. There's something that
Yeah.
could be done. There.
Maybe, yeah.
All right. Ben and Coder Mike from the Discord both asked our favorite boons and our favorite curse.
Okay. Favorite boon for me is the major boon from Pharasma, because it harkens back to my childhood. Because it's basically the Highlander curse, because you Pharasma has just decided you're not going to die until you fulfill this certain thing, but once you fulfill it, you dead.
That makes sense.
So it made me think of Highlander, like, yeah, except for you.
But
die
it's a
at the end,
boon
like-
here and not a curse.
It's
And
a
it's
boon.
a weird boon. It's a little weird
kind
of
of
a boon.
like because you can keep coming back and keep coming back and keep coming back and everything, but then when you fulfill your destiny, it's like you're done. And I just kind of liked that. It's a very interesting boon, but I liked it. Curse is the moderate curse from Calistria, because this is my ultimate fear in real life. That people react as though anything you say is insulting.
Oh no.
That's rough.
So it's like my anxiety just went like through the roof when I was reading that. I was like, oh my God, people misconstruing everything I say into something insulting. That's the worst.
Goodness.
Good curse.
Yeah. Okay, the boon for that I liked is the major boon for Gozra. Is you get blessed by Gozra to the wind, have the wind always at your back. Gives you a plus 30 feet to all of your movement and the ability to fly 30
That's
feet.
pretty cool.
And I was like,
Pretty good.
anything that gives you the ability to fly, that's just rad. I already talked about it when we were going through it, but the Erastal curse is my favorite curse, but it's also the worst one because, again, sterilize you, sterilize your pets, your livestock, your crops, just everything you own.
True. For me, I like Nethys's. I think it's the minor curse. You're permanently stupefied one.
That's
He's just
awful.
like, be a little dumber, actually. I dislike you. And then I really like Desna's moderate boon, because anything that lets me reroll things is fun. This one, Desna twists fate in your favor. Fortune. I can't read. Once per day after determining the result of a check, you can re-roll the check and take the new result. I like anything that lets me re-roll dice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Let's see. Giga asks, favorite random lore fact about a deity?
Oh my god.
Mine was Grandmother Spider deciding to punish the gods for making her their lackey. That tickled me.
Yeah,
I think I
tickled
said
me
my
too.
my one's for Caden, about him picking his dog as his herald and putting a tankard
not in
down
that
for
book.
Caden.
Those aren't in this book.
I know, but they're my favorite facts about the deities.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm just gonna agree with you on the Grandmother Spider one, because
It's fun.
I think
I read
honestly,
so
I
much, I
didn't
can't
realize that
pinpoint anything.
Akak had a sister.
Yeah,
And that was
true.
that's like
I actually
weird to
didn't know
think of,
that.
like a giant praying mantis having a 6-armed human-ish
Human-ish
sister.
Sorry.
You know, so
Yeah.
deity. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Just
Yeah.
everybody's related to somebody.
All right, here we go. Luis Loza asks, which deities do you think should have been in there but didn't make the cut?
So I went and looked about for this one, trying to think of stuff, and I came across Thamir Gix, who's a halfling deity, but it kind of shows a different side to halflings. It's often overlooked. He's more of chaotic, and I don't want to say evil, but he's kind of mean, and I think it's a different side to halflings.
That's fun.
I think the thing that I was missing in here wasn't necessarily a specific deity as much as it was I would have liked a list with a brief overview of deities that have passed.
Oh.
So like Aridin, and learning a little bit about Aridin, given
Like
that he's
old
kind of
deities.
central to
Eudersius.
kind of or Eudersius and some of these other deities that are like they kind of are gone now, but you can still see some of their artifacts. I mean, you can see places where it's like this used to be a temple to Aridin. Who's that guy in second edition? We don't know. So I think that would have been cool to put in here.
Sorry. So technically the one I want in there is in there, but she's in the appendix, which really doesn't count. I wish that there was more about Daikitsu, who is the goddess of foxes and rice from the Tien pantheon. But I just have such a soft spot for her because I played a cleric of her, and I was just really into rice and feeding people rice and planting rice. And I want her back because I want to remake that character real bad. Also, foxes are fun. Kitsune are neat.
Okay.
Yeah. Luis also asks, are there any particular themes that you feel are left untouched by the current list of domains?
I think you already kind of answered that one.
Mine is, I mean, I could be wrong. This is a huge book, but I'm relatively sure that I didn't find a domain that was like farming. There's like an area of concern that's farming, but not a domain. And I think that that's a domain that Erastil needs to have, because there's a different nature is more wild, and farming is more cultivated, and I feel like there's a place for that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I don't know if I've really played enough of second edition to have felt a gap anywhere. So, I mean, this book is huge, like you said. So it feels fairly complete to me, but that might just be my, not having made as many characters to have tried to make something that doesn't fit into any of the, existing domains.
Give us a few months and or a year or so.
Few months, try a few years. Yeah.
I don't know. I make a lot of
couple
characters.
years.
Giga asks, any pet peeves or grievances with some of the deity info, like Savannah's clerical options violating her own anathema? Yeah, I already said that.
I think we talked a couple of different areas.
I guess it's mostly me. I want Asmodeus to have lawful neutral followers. Zonkathon shouldn't have bats. Those are the major ones.
Minor gripes.
You didn't seem to like that Nethys had a zebra.
Yeah, but that's just because that's like, I feel like that's a cop-out. Nobody thought really hard about that. They were just like, zebra. That's funny. It's black and white.
I'm sure James Jacobs will be sending you a strongly worded email about
He
the
can,
importance of
and
the
I'll be like,
zebra.
fine. What is your deep, deep reasoning for giving him a zebra? I would love to hear it. I'll be waiting.
Guarantee you there's a reason.
I'm sure there's a reason.
Don't be
It's black and
presumptuous,
white.
Jessica.
It's black and white. The stripes help keep
Hoozles.
flies off.
Wait, is that a druid fact you just hit us
Druid fact.
with?
Druid fact: the stripes
Druid
on
fact.
zebras prevent not as many flies and stuff will land on them. And a farmer actually painted stripes onto his cows, and it had the same effect. Druid facts.
Nature is metal,
So flies
man.
are dumb.
Nature's.
'Kay.
I squirted a fly with a water gun today. Anyway, my day was weird.
Anyway, moving on.
Eric from Norse Foundry asks, which neutral gods deserve to have champions? And what is the best non-human pantheon? Well, there's only two, so I feel like that's not a fair question.
About the pantheons.
Yeah, we'll have to wait till more pantheons come out. I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know about the champions as well, but does Pharasma have champions?
No.
No,
They're like
because she's true
paladins,
neutral.
essentially.
So I think I think Pharasma.
Mm.
That's mine.
I really just want Cassandra to have champions because I want some techno knight with chainsaw sword
Warhammer.
going full Warhammer 40k and just cutting people down saying, you're oppressing androids. No, we can't have none of that.
That's pretty rad. I think the Lost Prince, because it would be kind of neat to have a champion that's all about finding the lost or accepting that everyone is lost in their own way. I think something cool might
It's
be
a very kind of
Interesting.
philosophical champion.
Because if you're a neutral champion, you're going to have to be very philosophical because you're in the middle, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Donut Dog with the best name. What is your favorite elder god?
I looked in the wrong section for this. I read it as eldest, and so I
you're
said
wrong.
the Lantern King.
Lantern King's neat. He's old.
Lantern King is a cool for a favorite eldest.
I like Zamindor.
I was gonna say I love Zamindor.
He's so creepy and
Zamindor.
bad.
It's got that
It's just
same kind of
awful.
vibe of Alien, where it's it's infesting people and it's taking them over and stuff.
Well, and it's very Lovecraftian because just to know about it makes it exist. So knowledge in this case is bad.
Yeah.
Feels right.
Yep.
I mean, it feels wrong,
Nethys
but
would
it feels right. Oh, yeah. I mean, Nethys is cool with evil also, so he'd be fine with this. Mirror asks, favorite subcategory of deities? Elder gods, eldest, demon lords, etc. And which did you wish was explored more?
My favorite subcategory is actually the eldest because
Me
I
too.
have a love affair
Oh,
with
me
Fae.
three.
But
we
I
all agreed
wanted
the
to see
eldest.
more from the elemental lords.
I want to know what the heck. But the eldest are so
Yeah.
cool. I love First
I think the
World.
eldest are cool because they're not so homogenous.
They're very different.
And that's kind of a weird thing to say when you're talking about all the levels of hell and everything, but you can have some good deities, some bad deities, some kind of neutral ones that are more chaotic, ones that are more lawful. You get a good kind of smattering of deities in the eldest pantheon.
I would like to see a pantheon rule or whatever for the eldest.
And you just worship all the eldest.
Yeah, that'd be kind of
That'd
because
be
you
interesting.
leave a saucer of
That'd be
milk
interesting.
out, or you all the little I'm thinking super Celtic
The
kind
brownie.
of feels
That would actually
Yeah.
be really interesting.
It
Yeah.
would be very neat. This is a fun question.
That would be interesting.
Dizzy Dwarf says, "Why do you all hail the living god, and what facet of him do you feel most inspired by?" He's not
The
in this
living
book.
part, duh.
I said I just
This book.
appreciate a good con.
I mean, yeah, if you can convince
I
that
do and
many
I
people that
don't.
you're actually a deity, props
I'm in
to
on
you,
it.
man.
If I'm in on the con, I can appreciate a good con.
Yeah, if I'm in on it, but if I'm not, it just frustrates me.
Yes, yes.
It's true, yeah.
yes. He's also not in this book. I didn't see him anywhere
He's not actually a
because
deity.
he's not actually a god, and that's hilarious. Okay.
He is, however, I believe a very powerful wizard or something.
Yeah, he's some sort of
So,
spellcaster.
he could be
He's
in
a
here for the
con
magic
man.
part, but they just did not include him.
True.
'Cause you can't worship him because he's not going to give you any
No
spells.
hailing the living god on this one.
Yep. Nope.
Not yet, anyway. I want that adventure path. Anyway, Giga says, which faithful, in your opinions, have the hardest time fulfilling their edicts or avoiding their anathema?
Ooh.
I can tell you mine. Mine is our dad Lily, which is I think one of the devil queen or night queens or whatever. It is her anathema are manipulate others with false promises and aid women who have been unfairly maligned. But you have to manipulate everyone, but you also should help women. Interesting.
Yeah, that's.
I guess you could be like, you don't have to manipulate everyone. I don't know. I think those are actually her edicts and not her anathema. I don't know. But they feel conflicting to me.
I'd honestly have to go back and look at them in more detail. I don't think I could pick one
Yeah,
out right now.
that requires deeper analysis than I was going to put into this, to be honest.
Well, no, I took a lot of notes, but having to go back through all of them and figure it out, I don't think I
Well,
have
especially if you
time
look
for
in the
that.
appendix where it has a list of the edicts and anathemas for every single thing that's in this book, it's a lot to take in.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll save that for later when we can insert in a blog or something.
Darkos Phoenix asks, which deity should have received more attention?
Not a deity, but I did wish I'd seen more about the god calling and like how to make that a real thing. I feel like the deities themselves actually got. I mean, all the deities were getting at least a 1-page spread for all the minor
deities
deities.
They included did. I wish that they had included more of the Sarkorian gods, like the Stack Mother of the Forest of the Stone, because she's cool.
Yeah.
I think we've also talked about
nice
the things we want more of.
Assyrian gods.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah. There's always more pantheons to pull from.
All right. Denev says or asks, where does the cover art rank among the other two ebooks? Cover art? Which is your favorite piece? Also, if anyone knows where I can get a cover art as my phone wallpaper, let me know.
I really liked the cover art for this one just because I like the kind of temple look with them standing in their spots and the starstone, and I just love all of the skeletons reaching up for it.
That I do like. That is cool.
Yeah,
that one's,
it is interesting that they chose to go with the like ascended gods instead of something more holistic that maybe would have included more of the deities. So it's interesting that they chose those three to prominently display, where the one in the first edition had like, I don't know, 6 or 7 different deities on it.
Yeah, that's my only gripe with it is like these are all human gods.
Also that, yeah.
Yeah.
But the starstone and the skeletons, very cool.
Yeah.
Otherwise, my favorite piece of art is the spread that they have for, I mean, the Lamashtu piece
of them fighting.
But
One of them fighting Roverguck is my favorite.
Yeah,
that's a really rad
piece. The spread
piece.
of like all the deities fighting Roverguck is very cool. We talked about all the art we liked on the way, so. Good Couch says, it's Super Smash Brothers, but with Golarion deities. Who's the fighter everyone chooses? Who has the best moveset? Who has the most memorable catchphrase?
Good thing we looked at this in advance, because doing that on the spot would have been difficult.
Yeah. Calistria, because who is not scared of a wasp? And her catchphrase would be, stings, doesn't it?
Oh, that is nice. That's pretty sassy.
Nice. So secret fact about me, I am a huge Super Smash Brothers fan, and at one point was like going to tournaments and stuff back in college. So I would pick Caden because Super Smash Brothers is famous for being highly biased to Fire Emblem fighters. Go look at the current roster and see how many Fire Emblem people they have on the roster. I'm not super witty, but I'm sure he is. It would probably be something like, sit down and have a drink, you'll fight better.
All right. I went with Roverguck because it already took all the gods to put that guy in a cage. They didn't even defeat him. And he's not witty, but I mean, maybe is nom 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 a catchphrase? Like,
I think so. I think so.
That's his catchphrase.
Okay, I can dig it. I can dig it. I mean, they do make a good job of actually making everybody balanced, so it, hopefully wouldn't matter in Super Smash Brothers.
I'm power gaming with my Roverguck choice here.
Roverguck is God tier.
Yes, because he just is such a bad guy. He eats the scene and you fall down because there's nothing to land on. Like there's no platforms because he's eaten them. Like only he has a platform. These are my tactics.
The anti-Steve.
All right. Oh, we're almost to the end of these questions, and then we'll glance at the chat. So throw questions in there too. Automator says, which deity do you think would be the most fun to play a cleric of? How about a champion or a lay follower? So deities for your cleric, your champion, or your just normal person.
Okay, I'm gonna be controversial here. I was going somewhere with that, but okay.
Okay, be controversial.
For all three, I'm picking Caden because I have never actually played a cleric or champion or anything of Caden. So Caden.
All right, now Rachel.
Nivi Rambadazzle.
For all three?
Yep.
Not surprising.
What
is Nivi's like alignment even?
She's neutral. I don't think you can be a champion of her. I went.
Then I just haven't created neutral champions. I like to think that they're going to come out.
I went Hei Feng for a cleric because a Tengu cleric of Hei Feng who just gets drunk and like messes things up sounds great.
Be a good like mix with a drunken master.
Yeah,
monk,
that'd be
if
fun.
They ever come up with that archetype, you know.
And then I'd probably want to do a Mother Jaguar champion because that seems very cool. You're just very leopardy and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I was going to be a lay follower, I'd probably follow Serenray because redemption is so neat. I just want a deity that will forgive me if I do something bad. Too. It's true.
It's fair. That's fair.
All right. Not So Free Willy asks, what deity would you like more info on or an AP where they play a role in it?
I honestly am really intrigued by Curgis, just because he's all about competition and, you know, realizing your potential and doing the best you can. And he just seems like such a cool guy. Like, I'd want to know more about him. It's kind of the deity I'd want to go get a drink with and possibly have him spot me at the gym.
Nice. I went Black Butterfly because I think it'd be fun to be like, we are the Silence and we are attacking those evil cultists.
You versus the Dominion of the Black.
Yeah. Oh, Starfinder Adventure Path would be very good.
That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it'd be kind of neat if you had something with Nocticula, where like you have to like help some of her followers somehow. Or I don't know. I think it'd be really cool because you know she is this.
Nocticula also is weird. Seems weirdly approachable.
Yeah.
You know, with like she's just all about art and like you know redemption and stuff. Like I feel like she'd be pretty chill to just be like, "Hey guys, can you go get some art for me? Like I'm just really hurt that they're gonna destroy it. You know, just make it not happen."
Were there any big domain or specialty changes to any of the deities from 1E to 2E? What was your favorite detail that you're looking forward to incorporating in a future character? This is from D Gib or Gib.
Oh gosh.
D Gib, I believe.
I just said I didn't think there were that many changes. There's some stuff missing, like there's some domains missing, but that's because I think a lot of them have kind of been combined or renamed.
Yeah, I think in the interest of trying to like the domain system had gotten very complicated with subdomains and tons of domains that I think they kind of tried to keep it a little bit simpler. Just to it's again, if there's too many domains to pick from, it's the paradox of choice where just I'm never going to be able to make a choice. Overall, I didn't feel like the at least for the core 20 that anything really changed that I was like, wow, that doesn't make any sense anymore. You know, they didn't really change like, you know, favorite colors, favorite weapons, anything like that. The edicts and anathemas are new, but I felt they're pretty in line with how the deities are. So, I mean, that's technically new, but I wouldn't say it's a change per se.
It's true. Also, I really like the anathemas and the edicts, and that's the kind of thing that, like, playing a divine caster is cool because you have to follow these things, and they kind of give you something to, like, latch onto for roleplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, last question before we look at the chat on Twitch. Evil Aardvark asks, which two gods would have the best looking children, and which would have the worst?
Goodness.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna go out here.
All right.
The worst ones, hands down, is Roverguck and Glounder.
Yep,
because they're two like insectile little gross things, ugliest babies. Most beautiful babies, I'm gonna go with Serenray and Nocticula, just because they're both attractive. They make attractive kids.
Fair. I picked Shalyn and Gruhasta.
Maybe.
Even though Shalyn seems mostly into women, for the purpose of just making a spawn on looks alone, Shalyn and Gruhasta. He's good looking, and she's good looking.
See, I went more the two women approach too, and I went for Calistria and Nocticula. Those are both two sexy women.
That's true.
Now, if we're having to go like,
who's the worst then?
Who's Uggo?
No, we already did.
It's true. Roverguck and Golarion.
Oh, we've all agreed. We've all agreed on the most ugly combination.
That's universally.
Yeah.
All right, let me look through the chat. So grab questions. Try to wrap this up fairly soon. We have gone very long.
Oh yeah, we have.
Let's see. Scrolly. Oh my god, so sorry. Okay, so most fantasy worlds and real-world religions have a good creator or a somewhat disconnected neutral force, but Asmodeus is the creator and also evil. That seems novel or different. What do you think?
Is he the only creator though?
I think that's one of those, like, he says he's the creator, and some people have said that he's creator, but also there's conflicting.
I don't know if people necessarily buy he's the creator.
He's a bit of a con man, so I don't know if I believe him.
I do think it's interesting to have like conflicting stories of how the world was created, because that feels very worldly and real.
I like that, actually.
I mean, I remember I had a history teacher who put it very succinctly in that if you look at the kind of environmental factors of where a group of people were, their deities tend to reflect that. So why are the, what was it, the Assyrians? Somebody that was in the Nile Valley that had
Egyptians?
They had very big
Assyrians with an A.
No. This is Mediterranean, Fertile Crescent kind of place. They had a lot of flooding, and so their deities were very vengeful, very out to get them. And then you have the Egyptian deities where the Nile floods very regularly, very peacefully, and their deities are a lot more peaceful because of that. And I think that it's interesting to think of what the impact would have been to cause an evil deity to have created the world, unless you look at it in terms of it was created so that you would suffer. And that's kind of just a Debbie Downer, and I don't think anybody really likes that. That's not a happy message.
We already know that there was a first world, and that Golarion is technically the second world.
If we're the second world, what happened to the first world? Somebody called for a mulligan.
Kick the Table says, what two deities would you like to see together in an Odd Couple style mismatched pantheon? I know my answer.
Ooh, Odd Couple?
Yeah, like an Odd Couple, it feels like a buddy cop movie kind of a thing. Mine's Nivi, Rhombodizzle, and Taurag.
Well, that's because they're already an Odd
I know, but that feels hysterical. Because you have a grouchy...
That would be a comedy for sure.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Oh man. I kind of like the idea of Serenray and Besmara.
That'd be a weird one.
I know.
I think I'd go with Erastil as the grumpy old man kind of, and Caden just pulling him along on an adventure, and him just being ugh. Why are we doing this? There's no point in doing this, and then having a good time,
Shalyn and Gorum would be an interesting pairing.
Ooh, that'd be weird.
Love and war.
The one who loves and the one who wants to fight all the time. That'd be weird.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Well, let's take one more question and then we'll wrap up. Wolf Mafia says, if you had the opportunity to meet one of the deities in a game, which god and which character?
Ooh.
Our
That's
current
hard.
game,
let's do current games, I guess.
We can only really talk about one.
Well, we have two. We could technically talk about.
I was gonna say, unless we want to play the whole game of explaining our entire character,
I just really want Ailsa to meet any god, but I think she would like to meet Erasni the most.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But she'd be cool meeting anyone, to be honest. She would just be like, you're a god! She liked meeting kind of Grotus.
Yeah.
I think Citra would want to
I don't know because like my options are
Hey, you just interrupted her,
Gorum with Octavius. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I couldn't hear when I was talking.
I was thinking just because Citra's been spending so much time with Falto that she'd want to meet Caden.
Oh, that's cute.
She's heard all the stories and
First
it'd be
off,
funny
everybody
if, like,
wants to meet Caden. Caden's the coolest
well,
deity.
but think about it. She's like would be this foreigner, so if she ever like traveled back with Falto, and like he's like, yeah, you know, and every now and then, you know, they have this this mug that's glued to the bar or whatever, and she's like sitting there and they're having drinks or whatever, and then some guy sits down next to her and lifts it up, and she's just like, oh my god, like I just think that would be perfect.
Total fangirl moment, like
yeah. She's like, I've heard so many stories about you.
That is true. That would be very fun. All right, Jordan, what do you got?
Yeah.
It doesn't
My
have
choices
to be a god
aren't
you worship.
great. I've got.
I think Sudi meeting Sekhmet would be very interesting.
That would be pretty cool.
It would be interesting just because I'd kind of want to get like. Sudi hasn't actually learned what Sekhmet's all about, so maybe coming to be and like getting it from the source of like, so Sekhmet, what are you all about? I don't understand.
She's like, war.
I'm supposed
buddy.
to worship you, but how do I worship you?
Killing bad things.
So yeah, I mean,
Fight the good
you know,
fight.
fighting fights, starting scraps, being scrappy.
Yep.
So
true.
I guess we'll go with that.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap up there. Thanks for hanging out, joining us.
Yep.
This ran super long, but you know what? There were so many.
Thanks
deities,
for sticking it out with us as we rambled through this.
True.
Very. It's not even like a super long book, but it is like
dense.
135
dense,
pages.
Many
So
good things are here, and we wanted to talk
dense
about
book.
all of them.
There's some good stuff.
Yep.
You'll have fun with it.
Good times.
Right.
Until next time. Bye, Pathfolk.
Good luck,
Bye.
Pathfinders. Gotta say it for Rick.